But I mean, we have it in our blood, bro.
Yeah, wow.
I know.
Yeah, well,
dude.
this is what it is.
Yeah, that's a great way to start it. We are all WAPs on this fucking thing, except Jay, but he's honorary, and Dean's a WAP. Guys, welcome back to the MBH podcast. We are live again. We told you every Thursday, 8 p.m. We'll never actually start at 8 p.m. It's just not, we just can't do it.
But now you guys know. Now you guys know.
I don't know why we can't. We just can't. And it just is what it is. So listen, from that point being made now, we're here.
It's live and unfiltered.
Live and unfiltered.
I got it right this time,
Yes,
baby.
thank you. Thank you.
All right. We got a heater of a chat, baby.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
But some administrative duties to take care of first.
Hit 'em.
Guys, subscribe if you're here.
Yep.
If you're watching. If you're listening, 5 stars.
Yes.
Apple, Spotify. I know you're listening, people. We know.
The numbers show that they're listening.
Numbers don't lie. All right. Make sure you guys drop that 5-star because we need it. Check out the Snapchat.
Yep.
Follow us on Snapchat at the MBH Podcast. Exclusive content. Right, Jay?
Exclusive, baby.
Okay, cool. Merch.
Oh, you're doing real administrative duties right
Merch
now.
is coming soon.
All right, let's go. All right.
Yo, I'm gonna give you some credit. That sweater you gave me last time is my favorite sweater.
Wait,
I
which
wear
one is
all
it?
the
Which one
time.
is it?
It was an XL gray with the
The neighborhood?
Yeah. It's my favorite
Oh,
sweater.
we got you. We got you
Good
some
quality,
new shit.
bro.
You're like, oh, I don't want to give you the XL. I don't know if you wear it. I wear it all. It's my favorite
We got
sweater.
you some new shit.
Love
coming,
it.
bro.
Love
Anyways, the merch is coming. All right. Some cool products coming. And we got a heater of a chat. All right. We got one gentleman with us. You may recognize him. Season 5.
Yeah.
That was season 5.
We were sub like 100 episodes for sure.
We were just going crazy. All right.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Jonathan Harvey with us.
Yes.
How you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to see you guys again.
Yeah,
really.
We told
love
you
it.
already, but you look
Warms my
good, bro.
heart.
You look good.
Thank you. So do you guys. I've been keeping up with you guys.
Thank you.
Y'all look like you're doing it right. Like things are going well and you're doing all the right things. I love
Thank
to
you,
see
bro.
that.
We tried. We made a lot of mistakes though to get there.
That's how you got there, though.
Yes.
But now you seem to be doing everything the right way. For
Now
the
we're
most
here.
part. Maybe I'm seeing the highlight reel, but it looks good to me.
We're still making mistakes, but we'll take it. We'll take it.
We'll show our mistakes though as well. I think
We
that
usually do. We usually try to.
To my right, we got Jay Zinho.
Yep.
I don't know if he's gonna be saying much today, but he's here.
It's good, guys.
There we go. And then of course we got Deanie doing the damn thing.
You're.
A lot of you had a lot to say about Deanie.
Yeah.
A lot of you had a lot to say about Deanie, all right? But we got him with us. All right. We got a bunch of shit to talk about, brother.
Yeah.
All right. And we
The
had to
world-
bring you.
The world's in a very interesting place right now.
So we got some stuff. I'm going to go over just like what we're going to briefly talk about. Then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, please.
Some topics we're going to go over. College enrollment is at an all-time low.
Yep.
I love that. I don't love the stat.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, maybe.
All right.
I take that back. Anyways, college enrollment at an all-time low. We're gonna go over that. China.
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 You've been Alabama, right?
Redneck.
China banning the iPhone.
Yeah.
Yo, Apple's down 4%, Dean.
You saw that.
I don't hear. It was because of.
Okay, keep it
I mean,
going.
we're gonna
Oh,
get
yeah,
to it.
don't please don't
That,
get me
is,
started.
that instigated it for sure. 100%.
100%,
Market's
bro.
all spec. That's exactly what it was.
Don't even get us.
We're already like,
Guys, this is just the intro.
let's
okay?
go. Keep going. Come on. Let's go.
Spotify losing big.
Yes.
Spotify losing big on their hopes of signing some talent that didn't work out for them for their podcasts. We're going to go over that, laugh at that a little bit. The current landscape of Canada, obviously. We got Jonathan Harvey in here, right?
Yeah.
This guy knows what he's talking about. The fires in Maui, fake. We're going to go over that.
Wow. Eh? Okay.
Trump, of course.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
Trump.
Our guy.
Everything
Yeah.
Trump.
Our guy.
And then we're going to do some fun shit. We're going to go over some reaction videos and go over some audience questions. So let's fucking jump right. What do you think about those topics?
Yeah, no, it's all hot shit. I'm
Is this
right
like your-
there.
this
That's
is like
like
your-
where
yeah.
I'm living right now,
Right?
bro. Yeah, I'm good.
We curated this episode around you.
I feel
my
like
guy.
we all live the same life,
No,
so it's
we
just
do.
easy. I just hop right in.
Yeah.
You know what? You know how I look at you? I look at you as the guy who thinks what we think, but can articulate it much better.
In fairness, I get to write it out and I read a teleprompter, so you get the highlight
Yeah,
reel.
but-
You don't get all the outtakes and all the swearing.
But
you'll get it
still-
here though.
True.
But you still write it out better than I would.
Fair
and
enough.
him.
I appreciate that. Thank
So-
you. Yeah, we all have our gifts, I suppose. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's one of those things that I just chipped away at it. But I've been making videos forever.
That's
like,
true.
I think I'm at video 151 now, just on those things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just been it's been since 2016.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I've always been, and obviously I like to talk, I like the sound of my own voice. It is what it is. But I sort of found I sort of found like a bit of a lane there for myself, where it's sort of like this independent journalist meets I can do sort of it's a bit of like it's artistic,
Yes.
It's a performance art is what I meant to say. So just connecting those two seemed to be a good fit. But to be honest with you, like it's been interesting bridging out of the COVID stuff, because one of the things that I found really pushed me to do a lot of the videos was that it was making a difference.
Okay.
Like it was an impact and it was a service. It was like, okay, you're not just talking shit. Well, I do enjoy doing this. I wouldn't put that much time into it if it wasn't actually, accomplishing a goal for people. So I haven't really bridged out to as much of those things since then, but I mean, I'll find my way.
Well, for some context, like you pretty much, I would say your content blew up during the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. And you were really
100%.
being vocal about it, and that's when you kind of caught our eye too, and we're like, hey, like same messaging, let's get him on. But even like we'll touch upon a little bit about your business and stuff like that too, as to like what you've been doing the last couple of years, because I know you had some venues, right?
Yeah, some bars and restaurants.
Yeah. So what happened with that?
So I just tried to get out of the business as quick as I could, to be honest with you.
Was that because of the pandemic though? That
yeah,
you were
100%.
Like, okay.
It was a couple things, right? So, realistically, like objective numbers, I lost about $3 million.
Okay.
And the thing is, I don't come from money, and that's what I was pretty much worth.
True.
So you just kind of go, this business wasn't very nice to me. And it was really, a lot of it was instigated by the government. Whenever you get into business, you look at a couple things. What do I know about the economy? Is it a growing business? How hard am I willing to work? Like you look at these things, these factors that you can control and that you can understand. But government intervention wasn't one of them.
Okay.
So all those things that I got good enough at over the years, they didn't come into play anymore. It was just what the government did to kind of get in the way and shut us down.
Okay.
But the thing is, it also changed some major macro trends. I guess people got used to staying at home and cooking dinner, so they weren't going out as much. What was interesting like about bars is your crowd morphs every few years.
Yes.
It just kind of stays the same age. You know what I mean? It's that Matthew McConaughey thing. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
But when there's a gap for a couple of years, you don't really have a bridged audience. So you sort of have to rebuild, and that's okay. Like we did a good enough job at that, but over the last year, seeing inflation rise, interest rates rise, and everybody's disposable income drop to nothing, we've just kind of fallen apart. So for us, it was like, okay, let's just get out of the business. So I had three units when we came out of the pandemic. I'm down to one. I've sold the other two. I'm going to hang on to Nomads for now.
Sick.
And the main reason I'm going to hang on to it is it's going to pay itself off, pay off some debts, and then eventually kind of give it to the guys that helped me build the business. Because if I'm not far enough ahead doing other things at that time, then I don't deserve it anyway. So it's okay.
True. So what is your plan, I guess, then?
Yeah. So I'm doing two things right now, and it's an interesting thing. I've got this. I'm kind of torn between the two a little bit, but there's this saying, I think it's Confucius, like the man who chases two rabbits catches none, right? Yep. So I'm kind of in this, like, I know I want to do these two things, but which one to focus on? So one of them is in the regenerative medicine space.
Wow.
Stem cells, gene editing, stuff like that. And I've got a really good group of people that I'm working with on it.
Okay.
The nice thing with that is I learned a lot over the last few years in that space. I sort of bought myself entry into it by building a product that addressed all 9 hallmarks of aging. So I just kind of taught myself some biology. Shit. But it was just a supplement. You know what I mean? It was not like
I just taught myself some biology.
No, okay, that's
crazy, bro. You can't just say that. That's insane.
It was basic biology. It was okay.
Yeah.
But it's a natural supplement. So there's a couple. There's 2 in the world. I had one of them. But it was really an entrance. It was me going, okay, I validated myself.
Okay.
So started working with some of these doctors, scientists, a lot of other much smarter people, and where gene editing and where stem cells are at and what it can do for regenerative health and solving all these other ailments. And, just because I had an autoimmune disease, so I was kind of chasing that down. That's kind of why I went down that lane.
Okay.
And then I got into it and I was like, the impact I could make in this space is really substantial. Now, the regulations in Canada are pretty tight. You can't do much. But the regulations in places like Panama, Mexico, Dubai, Colombia.
Yeah, Mexico, you can sell anything.
Yeah, but Mexico, the problem with Mexico.
Like you go to Mexico, you buy steroids at the corner store.
100%, And this isn't a hack at anybody there. It's just that the cartel is kind of this overarching feeling of Mexico right now.
True.
So when you think about trying to sell a $20,000 product, how do you sell that experience in a place where people don't feel safe? So Mexico wasn't really top of our list, but we're looking at Panama. I'm kind of talking to some people in the Cayman Islands to see if I can get them to sort of change their tune. But what I would be doing in that business primarily is just sort of being the entrepreneur.
Okay.
Because we do have doctors and scientists and people that are much better at that and can push that forward.
Okay.
So that would be one arm, and the other one is independent media. True. So I went into after kind of doing a lot of the videos, I tried this thing which was the Mars Reports. Talk about failures.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
I hit you up.
Yeah. So I was doing it, and you know what? You know why I stopped? It was interesting. I lost interest because, again, it didn't feel like I was solving a problem. I felt like I was just reporting on the news, and it was just doing these videos. And it was interesting. Like, it just sounds so douchey. It didn't fuel my soul. I didn't love it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't fucking care. I didn't care enough about it. Like, the pain wasn't worth it. You know, when I sit there doing videos for COVID, like, sometimes I'm up till 1, 2 in the morning because I have other shit to do.
Yeah.
But I like it. Like like
and you can tell you like it too. You can actually tell.
Yeah, you catch these little things and you figure this stuff out. It's investigative. It's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't have that with the Mars report. So I was like, you know what? It's not really gonna fly for me. So I kind of dropped that. But I still noticed there's a big space in independent media. So I was like, okay, I kind of let things like mull around for a little bit. I let the government do its thing, and then after C11, C18, and C36 came out, which are together, they're sort of a weaponized censorship bill in general.
Yep.
I looked at that, and when they cut independent media, off social and stuff, really Meta, Google, whatever, I was like, okay, now's the time.
Yeah.
So what I did was I put together a platform called Blender News, BLENDR News. Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea with that is it's fully independent. It's going to stay independent, going to have no corporate allegiance. I will have corporate sponsors, but they'll be buddies.
Cool.
You know what I mean? Like people we know, things I stand behind.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, what am I wearing? I'm not wearing. So like I'll wear a lot of times like Clocks and Colors. My buddy Shane owns it.
Sick. That's a sick brand, by the way.
Yeah, he's done a great job with it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah.
So like I might promote that because I like it and I know it. So there'll still be some corporate sponsorship. There'll be money there, but no corporate allegiance. It lives on social media. It's a daily newsletter right now, which is fucking killing me, dude. It's so hard.
You're writing it? No.
Every day.
What?
I'm doing, and it's dude, bro. So
Yeah, but you got Chat GPT. You got to use that shit, bro. Come on.
you do a little bit, but here's the thing. So Blender News, the tagline is where news meets rational thinking.
Okay.
So the idea is you got to throw some rational thought in there.
True.
And the other thing is people kind of buy into you for who you are. If you use Chat GPT and you don't have the right prompt, it's going to sound like some fucking nerd wrote it. And I know you didn't do it. So you can summarize information, but you kind of have to do a lot of the work yourself. True. So it's okay. I'll get more efficient. I'll figure it out. So newsletter, socials, and I'm going to be launching a podcast with it as well. And eventually push everything to a website, of course. But the podcast is funny. I can't seem to find the right format with the podcast.
Like what? Like in your long form,
sense.
short form? What do you mean?
Well, I do more like 20, 30 minutes. Which
is good. That's a good time.
That's kind of my thought. So I was just like, hey, I'll just report on the news. And I'm like, you and I and you, we all have an acute knowledge in certain areas because we spend our time there. We think about it. You know what I mean? And we when you know enough about information, you can take one piece from over here and you throw into this mix of stuff and you can elaborate.
Yes.
The thing is, when you're talking about just the news, it's happening so quickly and it's happening that day that it's hard to really elaborate much on that sometimes.
Okay.
The other thing is you have to, if you want to be able to talk to the camera and not just be reading off a teleprompter, you really have to know your information.
Yes.
Otherwise, like it's really janky when you go back and forth from talking the way we are now to teleprompter to the way we are now.
You could tell the difference.
It's so bad. It's so bad. So I'm like, hey, do I do this with, do I look at a co-host? Do I do this maybe once or twice a week instead of every day? I'm just kind of trying to iron at the kinks. The ones I've done so far have been really bad.
Yeah.
So I was like,
But I feel with news though, I feel like a lot of them are reading off a teleprompter though.
yeah, but that's boring shit. And it's not where news meets rational thinking. It's just me telling you what you can read in the news article, newsletter.
And I feel like news, it's like you mentioned, it's happening every day.
Yeah.
And so it's like you need to be there right in the moment. And if you're 12 hours late, you're late.
No, you're already behind because the bigger guys already got it.
You're done.
And that's who people are going to watch right off the bat.
Yeah.
So it's a very tricky.
So that's where you're kind of trying to. I think you're a person that can balance both. I think you could do something where you have a show where you're talking about pretty much anything you want, and then you also have this news kind of segment where you kind of pick the best news based on that week. So you're not doing it daily.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're gonna build a community around you. Right, so the news might get out before you, but people want to know what you have to say.
Well, that's the rational thinking part,
Yes.
right? And that's why I think I have to add that. So the real crux is like, I need to know the information better, even though it's coming out very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get to know it very quickly and have some sort of rational thought or logical
Full-time.
opinion to share?
You're full-time on it.
Well, the thing is, I'm already there. So I think it's about streamlining what I'm currently doing now and then being able to maybe shift over.
Yeah.
But anyway, those are really the two things.
Sick.
The news is getting a lot more of my attention, and it's, you know what, I'll be honest with you, it feels good to be like a dog with a bone. I have not chased down one project and been all about it since like 2018 maybe.
Yeah.
So it feels good to just be like, hey, I work 100 hours a week, fucking shut up and deal with it. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. So it's been good.
Damn. Well, speaking about working 100 hours a week, did you go to university or college? You did, right?
Yeah, I dropped out.
You dropped out.
Yeah, I dropped out of college after 2 years.
love that.
Why'd you drop out?
So I went to, I took business administration at Humber College.
Yeah.
I was honor student first year, never went to class. I'm like, how's my grade get mapped out? They're like, oh, you have to write these tests. I'm like, I'll fucking see you then. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, business administration, I don't even know what that is after the first year. Fuck this. So what overlapped? And then business marketing overlapped with the same first year. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. And then that year, I was kind of like, I'm going to go party.
Yeah.
So I, to be honest with you, that was a big part of it, but also I recognized that I was an entrepreneur. I really did. It was one of those things that wasn't really cultivated when I was young because none of my parents aren't really into that kind of thing. Really no one in the family, you know? So it was something I sort of explored as a kid, but just kind of let it go. I thought maybe it was a phase like playing sports, this, that. You can be great at it, but is this what it's going to be? And then, you know, around like 19, 20, I was like, this is wiring. This is who I am. Like I want to grow in this space. So at that point, while I was partying, the big reason why is I was like, I will never use this education. It'll be of no value to me. So I was like, okay, forget it.
Yeah, which is smart guy. Well, you didn't go. You just didn't even go.
Because I already knew what was
already
good.
knew.
I was
You're a smart guy.
already just trying to. I was like selling weed in high school and shit. And I was already like, okay, I'm just gonna work for
Entrepreneur
myself.
at his finest.
No, whatever, selling everything. But that's because like you got to realize like how much money you're spending on school and like bro, you got to be honest with yourself.
Yep.
I was a lucky kid where my schooling was gonna be paid for by my parents,
True.
so I would have had that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot fathom them wasting their fucking money
That's
and
why
I never
finished.
show up.
That's why I finished.
Yeah, because they spent the money on you.
money.
So I was like, dude, before they even do that and before I even pretend that I want to go to school,
Yeah.
boom.
So
ciao.
Business Insider comes out with this article. It's about the college enrollments declining. College enrollment in the U.S. has been declining over the past decade due to several factors. Rising tuition costs, a strong labor market, and concerns about college values have contributed to this decline. The article explores these reasons and their impact. So they're saying, first of all, the cost, which obviously
It's just crazy right now.
which I think people are like, what's the point of this? The second thing is, are these students even using their degree to get the job that they want in that space or that field? Which, how many people do we know get a degree and they don't use that degree ever?
No, it's like you get a degree in like sociology and then you're working at the bank.
Yeah.
Political
It's
science.
a cla-
Yeah,
it's a
the old
class-
poli sci, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a classic.
Political science, and then
Yeah.
you're on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Kinda.
So that's the
hey,
way. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys really think about this? Are you guys even surprised about this? I'm personally not. I could have told you this, but I mean, the stats are here now.
I'm not at all surprised. I think it's been declining for quite some time, right?
Yeah.
Biggest thing is the money. It's a disproportionate value. I think the average student on federal loans is at almost $38,000, and if it's private, it's $54,000.
Yeah.
And then the average amount of money that a college university grad makes and has to put towards their debt is 47%. So for every dollar they make, 47 cents has to go to their college debt. You can't discharge it through bankruptcy. There's no way to refinance it, which is absolutely mental.
Yeah.
So when you just look at that and then you look at the labor market and what's going on. And then the other thing too is like with all these other tools, AI, whatever's like fucking YouTube alone.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then the rate with which your education becomes obsolete due to growth of technology as well. You're kind of going, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the other thing is they trap kids, right? So you had like a good head on your shoulders. I didn't think about it the way you did. I wish I had of. You know, when you're 18, you're like, I just want to get out of the house. I'm going to go to school. Bro, you don't know what you want to do till you're in your mid-20s.
Well, that's the thing. That's
Even
the
then,
thing.
yeah.
And I think that affects it a lot where you see these students graduating with degrees that they don't use is because they're forced to decide what they want to do when they're 18, 19. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm switching my major now.
There's
It's another 2 years of school
Yeah.
added on top.
There's
Exactly.
that, and I think on top of that, I'd say maybe in the last 5 years, there's just been this boom of like work for yourself, make money on the internet.
Yeah.
And like that boom, I think, has turned so many young kids because also you have to remember something, that Gen Z coming out of high school / in high school, like they're the ones that are making the big bucks online.
Yeah, and they're seeing others
And
do
they're
it as
seeing others
well.
at their age group, so they're saying, "What the fuck am I going to go to school for,
Yeah.
bro?" When I see this guy, you know, has a business, Shopify, drop shipping, blah blah, crypto, whatever. They're like, "Well, I'm going to go here, put myself in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, or I can just not do that,
Yeah.
and make money on the internet, right?" So I think this rise of like everybody wanting to be an entrepreneur, which like I have mixed feelings about that too, but I mean, I think that plays a huge role. Like, and then yeah, you have guys like you have guys like Gary Vee, like, who come in and just shit on the school system, right?
Yeah.
And the labor market, I'm a little bit surprised about. Like that portion that you mentioned, that like the labor market being so strong. I guess maybe I'm looking too like
Yeah.
micro right now, but
Yes.
but overall, I guess it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, and especially like in Canada, it's a little bit cheaper. In the States, it's very expensive to go to school.
Well, listen, I know a lot of people that are not going just because of the money, right?
Yeah.
But then we do know a lot of people that maybe they're even parents or parents actually, to be honest, and they don't want to send their kids to school because of the ideology being pushed on the students now. Which, when I was in school, I never really felt that. Right? Like we didn't. Did you guys
That
feel
was
like an
not a thing to
ideology
me,
being
bro.
pushed on you guys?
No, not at all. I grew up north too with a bunch of fucking rednecks.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit.
Sure,
We used to play hockey and kick the shit out of each other. No
Yeah.
one cared at
Yeah.
all.
Right? But I'm saying even
No.
in the city, dude, I don't like
Well,
high
well,
school
well,
and
the-
shit. Like even me at university, I never felt that.
No.
Well, the whole ideology and political bias stuff, I think, has really come to light very recently. I'd
Yep.
say in the last couple of years. And now, I mean, that's even trickled down into like elementary schools.
It's wild.
Yeah, no, but it's going all the way down, all the way
wild,
down.
So I think
Yeah.
I think schooling as a whole, like even step away from college and university, man, homeschooling, the rise of homeschooling, it's been
Yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy.
Like,
Private schools.
Crazy.
private schools, things like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
where you see parents literally choosing their child's school based off of like, hey, we don't teach anything that can be seen as like an ideology, and it's only just like math, science, English, and like everything else you guys teach at home.
There's actually some we know of someone that has kids in a private school in Florida.
Yes.
And that private school is like so like opposite, but like they're like strong opposite.
Yeah.
They're like, if you got a needle, you're not allowed here.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that
like that.
intense.
Yeah.
If you talk about this, or if you are confused one day about what gender you are, you will be removed from the school.
Yeah, be expelled.
Really?
Like that
Yeah.
that extent. And like,
Well, this
I want your thoughts on that. What do you think about going the extreme opposite?
Yeah, we have this conversation all the time.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I'll tell you what I think. And,
Yeah,
'cause
please,
you
please,
might have somewhere in the middle or
By the
agree.
way, chat, let us know what you guys think about the schooling topics. Do you guys go to school? Did you guys pay for school? Did you guys waste a degree? Let us know.
wasted waste money. The way that I've seen the world work in history has been when something tilts so far to one side, the way to bring balance and swing it back to the middle is you have to go so far the other way. We've seen it happen many times in history. Now, I think that's why schools like this, and maybe why these like far right influencers and stuff are growing so quickly, because people are so tired of how tilted it's been to the left. So now, use that in school or really any way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think humans have a tendency to just, like you said, it swings like a pendulum, all the way to one side, all the way to the other. The problem is this, though. If you actually want to solve your problems, so humans are really good at identifying their issues. We always know what the problem is. But instead of fixing the problem, we create basically an opposite and equal problem on the other side.
To beat it out.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
We want to balance the scales.
Yes.
We don't want to resolve the issue. This is the way of the world these days, and this is why it's not super constructive, because here's the reality of like how they're doing it down there at the other school in Florida, the private school in Florida. At the end of the day, like if I had to pick and choose, I want my kid to go there.
100%.
For sure. But at the same time, I would actually rather have them in a place where they understood what was going on. Sorry. They understood the scope of all of these conversations that are happening.
Fair.
And they could actually use logical reasoning to understand, without any real prejudice, what's happening if any of them apply to them whatsoever. It's very unlikely that they do.
Yes.
But I want them to actually be able to explore that, not just to be on team red versus team blue. I want them to understand why. Why is it bad when you're trying to identify your gender or your pronouns when you're 7 years old?
Yes.
Well, there's a couple reasons.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't understand any of it. You don't have,
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I knew what I was, or this or that. Or, sure, you may have had like you may have some weird distant memory of being like, hey, that looks cute. Maybe I'll kiss that girl. Great.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you really don't understand enough about yourself. You really got to go through puberty to start figuring these things out. The other side of that too is kids don't know how to logically reason problems at that age.
Yeah.
So when you say, hey, are you a boy or a girl? They go, well, I don't know. And they go, we'll reward you if you say you're that one.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, of course.
So it's super, super dangerous to be doing that to kids. Absolutely. But when I have children, eventually, hopefully, I'm going to explain all these things. So whether they're at the far right school or the far left school,
Yeah.
none of it's going to make a difference, because they're going to go, here's what you're saying, here's the filter, here's how I understand this. You're not going to affect me. That's what I want to be able to do.
But I can debate that because they're on their phone all day now, and their TikTok and their teacher and their
Sure,
school and the
sure,
government
sure.
is kind of who is raising children now.
So
you could preach to your children if you
Yes.
want, but at the end of the day, when they go to school and they're on their phone all day, they're actually getting a whole bunch of other information. They're getting reprogrammed. Then they go back home. You know how many times I've heard a parent say that? I have to reprogram my kid when they come back from school.
Right, yes, but the thing is, then it comes down to, like you said, what school do they go to?
True.
But I would also not want them to be intolerant.
Okay.
And I don't mean that from some like I'm pretty centered on a lot of things. I don't want them to be intolerant. I don't want them to think this way either.
Okay.
Or that way.
Okay.
The reality is, I want my kids to go to a school that's somewhat balanced. I want my kids, Tim Kennedy?
No.
He's ex-Navy SEAL. He's like America. He's that guy.
I love
But he's
that.
like so jokes too. He really good sense of humor, really comfortable with who he is. Great guy. But he's the guy that would roll in on a tank blowing shit up. That's him.
Yeah.
So he started a school in Austin, Texas. I think it's called Apogee Cedar Park. I believe that's what it's called. Half day inside, science, math, English. Outside, learn to live in the wilderness. Yeah, like that's the kind of shit I want my kids to get.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
cool.
That kind of stuff, I think, that's where I want to see them land, because I think like you and I, the three of us, 4 or 5 of us, we have the ability to sort of discern right from wrong, how we feel about things. We can look at things objectively and sort of understand what people are doing and why they're in their ego or why they make decisions and why they get on this team or that team. We can get aside from all that. Our kids can't.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, we need to put them in a place, like you said, they're going to get reprogrammed. We want to put them in a place where they get the right programming. I don't think either extreme is right.
Yes.
That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
It's funny you say that too. I had this conversation not too long ago with a friend of mine about if, speaking to maybe my potential life in the future, I was like, listen, I want to just be traveling all the time and be able to shoot this podcast and do it wherever, whenever, any country, all the time, whatever. Okay, but what happens when you get to that point, you have kids? And I'm like, well, maybe they just come with me. Maybe my family just rolls with me. And it's like, oh, but what about schooling? Don't they need to be in school? And I was like, look, let's say one day I was like, hey, I'm picking up in the middle of the school year to go to Italy for a month. I don't know. Let's just say. I'm like, my kid's going to learn more from traveling to Italy and seeing a new culture and seeing how people live than they would learn in a traditional elementary school, let's say, or a high school. And people may agree, people may not agree, but me looking at my personal experience of now traveling and understanding what you learn from traveling and also having been in school for however many years at this point, I'm like, yeah, a month in Italy, traveling a country that I'd never been to and seeing the culture and seeing how people live, it's a different type of learning, but to me, it's almost as valuable, if not potentially more valuable, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. I agree more.
So I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't mind taking my kid out of traditional school for a month to bring them to a place in the world, bring them to Dubai, go and see fucking Africa. I don't know, anywhere, Asia, just to see a different type of life, right? And I think they learn a lot more, especially at a young age. Could you imagine you were 10 years old and your family brought you to fucking China for a month.
Yeah.
What you the value and the knowledge you would have came back with would have been insane.
Priceless.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I agree 100%.
So I think when it comes to that aspect of but this traditional, your kid's got to be in school for this many months of the year and blah blah. I'm like,
that's the matrix.
I don't buy that. I don't buy it. Right? There's other ways to learn. And again, it's other than just sitting in front of a desk, because then you can take it a step further and say, how many kids don't learn that way? So how many kids are sitting in a fucking classroom for 8 hours a day, 20 years of their life, and they didn't learn a single fucking thing?
Those are usually the entrepreneurs, to be honest.
Sure.
They're the ones that didn't listen in class. And
you know what's interesting? My wife was telling me this stat. I'm going to butcher the fuck out of it, but she was telling me this stat that I think only 20% of kids in school learn through the auditory means, learning the way that they're actually taught.
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah.
The other 80% would learn a lot better going another route, whether it's kinesthetic, visual, whatever it's going to be. And they don't get that opportunity. So they have to try to fit into this small little box, and that's how their whole life is judged. I go, fuck, that's just.
And now they're
used to
and now
that
they're
box.
slow. They're slow learners. They're fucking stupid. They're this. Quickly, one of my best friends to this day, we've been friends since we got baptized on the same day. That's all dude, in elementary school, people would have thought he was slow, he was special ed, buddy,
he was autistic.
He was he was retarded, okay, literally. And he leaves high school, he leaves elementary school, goes to high school, and blossoms because he has a fresh start, a new way to learn.
Sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah.
And bro, he's literally the smartest guy that I know. The smartest fucking dude, so well articulated, reads 1 trillion books a day. He's and it's where it's just Yeah, because he couldn't mesh into that like way of learning in elementary school, they labeled him stupid.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Which
how
is
many
sad.
kids are falling victim to
Lots.
that?
For sure.
So
For
many.
sure. There's
So many. I mean,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what? You know, it's like kind of like I'll add on top of what you were saying too. Like, dude, you get some reasonable tutor, somebody who knows their stuff and is well-rounded that travels with you. Because if you're taking your family to Italy for a month, bro, you're good.
Yeah,
You're paying this guy 10 grand. He's coming with you. He's
Fair.
teaching them whatever's important. Like, that's not even.
It's true.
Easy, yeah, the math, the whatever.
Whatever.
Like
Because the thing
fucking-
is, like, what do you really remember from that age? What you learn is like problem-solving skills and the fucking alphabet.
yes,
Dude.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
it, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, there's like I try to go back and look at what I learned from school, and it was like
nah.
There's
Wow.
not much, dude.
I was a shit at every different grade of school. I was a bit of a shit in a different way.
Yes.
And you just those are the things you remember.
Yeah.
When you started picking on girls, when you used to throw crayons into the fucking ceiling
Yeah,
lights and
yeah.
shit. That's legit. That was grade 2. So I mean, like you think about stuff like that, and it's like like that's how you remember school. Like
Yep.
that's.
It's more of like a how you interacted with
Yeah,
people rather
exactly.
than like
Yeah.
what was read in the fucking
what character
book.
you
You
were.
know who your friends were and who your teachers were, but you don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck you learned.
Yes,
Yeah, like-
exactly.
dude.
So listen, the decline of fucking kids going to college, I can totally
It's with all
understand
due
it.
respect.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
It's with all due
I can
respect.
fully understand it.
And someone made a great point here, which we got finessed, all of us in elementary school, thinking we had to pass anything because everyone passes elementary school.
Yeah.
You know that,
Well, they
right?
also finesse you with like you go to the principal's
It's like,
office.
oh, you're not going to get out of this school if you don't get these grades. And it's like, oh my God, I'm not going to get out of elementary school. Scam. Anyways.
Hold on, having kids and going to China ASAP.
Well,
That's a great idea.
I don't know if that's the combo, dude.
No, hold on. Well, how long are you going there?
I don't
brother?
know if that's the real combo.
Okay, let's go. What's
School on the downhill.
Where are we going?
Anyways,
Where are we going
now we are
next?
headed to China, our
Yes.
lovely listeners. We are headed to China because
Oh, we are headed to China.
China has ordered government officials to refrain from using the Apple iPhones and foreign branded devices for work or bringing them into the office.
Sorry, Dean.
This is something new. This is something new.
Foreign devices, Google, everybody.
No, but,
Sorry,
but bro,
Dean.
listen, Apple iPhone. You say can't use the iPhone. That's like, bro, what are you talking about? What are we talking
What's
about?
the what's the stat? How much of their sales come from China?
But it's just the government.
It's just government though.
It's for now.
Well, yeah, you know.
They can extend that.
You know what might be interesting? Did you see that thing with Huawei the other day?
No.
So there's that like chip embargo, right?
Yeah.
So Huawei found a way around the chip embargo with their new phone.
Okay.
So this came out like 2-3 days ago.
Okay.
So I imagine what's going to happen is Huawei is going to start picking up steam, manufacturing these phones, whether it's chip or no chip. I'm not sure exactly how they got over this problem, but they did.
Yes.
So I think that's their first move. Is they're going to start using Chinese produced phones.
course.
And then after that, it's just the Huawei technology. From what I remember, was pretty legit. Like
It
was
probably if they're doing it, dude.
I think it was pretty good. I think that the technology could have been in our other phones, but I think that they were doing it at such a lower cost that they were able to give better value. So you were getting like better technology for the price, if that makes sense.
True.
So, but anyway, they're obviously not allowed here. They're not allowed in the States. All these other places.
Yep.
But now that Huawei jumped over that problem, 2-3 days later, Apple gets banned.
Well, that's what's happening right now. You're seeing a lot of countries ban everything from China. And now China's turning around saying, well, we'll just do the same thing with you guys. We'll ban your products.
Well, they've had that forever. Like, there's no Instagram in China.
WeChat.
Yeah,
That's censorship, though. That's not really about economics.
True.
fair.
'Cause that's
but-
just a software,
Okay,
right?
but
Like,
so
what?
you think I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. You think
not a
this? You
product.
think this Apple play is economic and not sort of some maybe privacy issue? Because like you said, it's only government officials.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, too. You have to remember is like China does want to collect data on their own people.
They do it
They
scale,
do it,
bro.
they do
It's
it.
fucking
But
wild.
what
I'm
if
saying-
7 trillion cameras in a kilometer?
So maybe the play is we do our own phones and
Yeah.
then we collect data from our own. Maybe there's a thing with Apple where Apple's not giving
Bro,
you
if
access.
you're in 1984, that's it. That is the thing.
So
You
this
just
is-
have to use Chinese phones only.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying, where it's like maybe it's the play isn't economic. The play is privacy or data collection, whatever the
I
fuck you
think
wanna call it.
I think it's
A mix of
it's both. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I think the opportunity's there because before maybe they couldn't produce the Huawei phones or something that was adequate.
see what you're saying,
Now that
yeah.
they can, they do it because now it's I think they're
And so
they're
it
killing
starts
two
with the
birds with one
privacy
stone.
thing. Boom.
Yeah.
we can take over the market.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Wall Street Journal, this is what they said. They said this is part of Beijing's strategy to reduce reliance on foreign technology, enhance cybersecurity, and control the flow of sensitive information. So they just want to keep.
Oh wait a minute. Oh, okay, bro. You
We
should've
already had
started
this.
with that. I was gonna say.
No, but I wanted to hear you guys. We all said it.
What
We
the
all said
fuck?
it.
Okay,
That was
so
a test. We got it right. We're
Yeah,
good.
okay.
Right?
we're gonna
And
move on,
to
yeah.
answer your first question,
Yeah.
Apple
insane.
relies on China for about 19% of its overall revenue.
Okay, so as of now, it's just government employees, but overall, if China says
If they say the whole thing, ciao.
they
Yeah.
lose 19% of revenue. We're talking about Apple. We're talking about big dollars.
4 points down today,
Dean, sell the stock. Dean,
listen,
sell the
by the
stock.
way, for some context, he has like an Apple museum in his house. He
We
loves
call
Apple.
him Dean Jobs.
We call him Dean
Nice.
Jobs.
Yeah.
I'm Team Apple, bro. I'm with you. I'm not
Yeah.
quite as bad,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
get it.
I don't know. We got a visitor. Hold on.
Nice.
We got a fucking visitor here.
See who it is.
Holy fuck, guys! It's Mike. It's Mike from downstairs, eh? Holy fuck!
A stream legend.
If this is your first stream, Mike from downstairs, eh? Holy shit! Unbelievable. Okay, tap in. Listen. China's fucked, but at the same time, have kids ASAP and bring them to China. That's the other thing,
That's kind of crazy though. But
which is insane. Okay,
I mean, I hope they don't ban that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like a mini China, so like that could
we
be
are a
next
mini
year.
China. We are a mini.
Are we not? Wait, you give me a sound there.
I know that was a crazy noise.
If there's anyone that's a mini China, it might be us.
Well,
I mean-
there's North Korea.
Yeah.
No, they're their own beast.
There-
That's
yeah,
their-
yeah,
that's
that
their
is,
own
true.
beast.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is
okay.
that is
Okay,
the
fair,
next
fair,
level
fair.
up. I don't know, man. In what ways? You know what I mean? Like the thing is, we still have we still have the freedom to move. You know what I mean? Like
mobility.
Bottom line is, we have the freedom to move and get out of here and not be a part of this anymore. We really do.
I mean, you couldn't for a little bit actually.
100%. Yeah, we couldn't. But I mean, that was sort of a unique situation, which I don't condone. I think the guy's a raging fucking lunatic for doing it. So we had a moment where it was a bit, we were a little in over our heads there.
Okay.
But realistically, like, here's what I think. I think that the whole world is moving towards a lot of the same things.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah.
some countries are just hiding it better. And I'll tell you what, like, so the UK just passed something called the Digital Markets Act, in conjunction with the Digital Services Act. We go, look, we're going to start regulating social media and make sure that these big tech platforms can't bully you out of the market. It's for everybody's own good.
Always.
Bro,
Motherfuckers,
the LA
yeah.
Times,
Yeah.
LA from Los Angeles, left-wing California, goes, this is a censorship bill. Watch the fuck out for this.
Wow.
That's how bad it is. So it's like, that's happening in the UK.
Yeah.
In Canada, we have a myriad of bills that are doing the same thing, right? The States is interesting because their politics are so polarized and they're
Yes.
on the world stage. That's a bit more of a joust. It's a bit more of an actual fight, but at least it's happening in front of us.
True.
You know what I mean? New Zealand, Australia, same shit. Australia's wild.
No, they're fucked.
Right. So like, where's the utopia then? If Canada's China, then tell me where the
tell you
utopia
where.
is.
Well, you okay,
Miami, Florida.
Well,
Your boy DeSantis. Hey, what a shit presidential campaign. No,
I know.
But that's the difference too.
We'll get there, we'll get
Another
there.
difference is like between the states
Love
and here
'em,
is
though.
that I feel like half the states won't allow it. I feel like Canada will allow these things to continue to happen.
I guess again, it depends on in what respect.
Okay, so let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
go ahead.
They're talking about bringing lockdowns back.
Yes.
They're talking about bringing masks back. All the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Another shot
Our
for
favorite.
sure.
Our favorite.
What do you think is going to happen in Canada?
So I don't think they're gonna. Pardon me. I don't think they're gonna get there. I thought
No,
they
I
were
don't
for a
think so
little bit.
either.
You don't think so?
No, and I'll tell you, there's a couple. So before there was this fear, right? And there was this uncertainty of what was going on, and they had control of the media, and no one really knew. And people that had the wherewithal to understand still got caught up in the fear.
Yes.
So they couldn't push back either. There's certain groups of people. A lot of times people that came from a rough upbringing or a rough country.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes, a lot of entrepreneurs. We saw this for what it was. But a lot of the people that are in those categories still got fooled because they were afraid. And that's okay.
Okay.
And I'm good with that.
Okay.
But they're not afraid anymore.
How do you
Because
know
we
that? How do you
because
know
we
that?
have all the data now. We have actual
But data never saved them before.
No. But the thing is, that we were looking at data that was coming in every day. We were
Okay.
looking, but now you're looking at like worldwide meta studies. Some things like this, like the incident rate on the vaccines, like 1 in 800 and something.
Yes.
Israel reported.
Wait, what was that? The instant rate of death?
No, it's like severe side effects.
Okay.
We know that the rate of death is between the rate of survival 99.9 to 99.7, and we know that it's getting better. We know that it wasn't all the things that they said everything they said did not like objectively come true.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. Even though it's anecdotal, we can identify that.
Yeah.
Just get one shot. You can't spread it. Blah
Yep,
blah blah.
yep.
This stuff's gonna
It
work.
all added up. Yep.
Study came out the other day that said lockdowns actually increased excess deaths. So that's interesting though, because if it didn't make a substantial change when you look at countries, you look at places like Florida, you look at places like Sweden, it didn't have a substantial change in death, especially later on in the pandemic, but the lockdowns were ineffective and actually went the other way. You start looking at these things. Now there's all these massive studies about masks that are coming out. People are like, oh, these things don't work anymore. So you kind of look at all of this stuff. I mean, the one from Israel, no one under 50 died from COVID.
Which is crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, to what you're saying. Here's the thing. You do way more fucking research than the average person.
That's also true.
And the average person, is still clicking CP24, is still clicking and is going to Google for their information. And the first 3 links that show up is the ones that they're going to follow. So
Sure.
I'm also in agreement with you. I think people just as human beings were like, a lot of them were like, yo, we got fooled.
Yes.
And then a lot of them were like, yo, I got fooled. I'm not going to tell anybody that I know that.
Well, that's a problem, though.
Well, yes and no. And then
Let them have it. Let them have it, bro. Let them have it.
exactly. We're not going to get the sorries and I'm an idiot.
No,
that
no
we
sorries,
want.
but just like
Whatever.
you got to come around.
And then I still think there is that small piece of people who would still fall for it, but they're just retarded.
Hundo, absolutely.
And whatever, which is fine.
They're
So-
the older generation, dude.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's where fear comes back
Yeah.
in, right? So, but I do, on the flip side, I still believe that people won't do their research, won't see these studies and stuff like that you're talking about.
So I think the big difference this time is that instead of it being 3 guys sitting at a table talking shit and then saying, hey, we're not doing this, it's going to be 3, 4, 500 and it's going to be constant.
True.
People aren't going to let it go.
Okay.
I just think that too many people now, like, how many people do you know? And this is obviously anecdotal, but how many people do you know that were kind of for the lockdowns and masks and get your vaccinations, but now they're like, damn, I got duped. You know, and you know that they wouldn't do it again. You know that they don't feel that
Not
way.
so much that they're saying I got duped,
No,
but
no,
you
but-
know deep down they
Yes.
won't do it
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I know
Yeah,
a lot of them.
Yeah,
I know a
that's
lot
what-
of
You know
why
that
it's-
they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all you can really ask for. So I think like that scale. And the other thing too is think about it this way. The United States, that's going to be really interesting. Trump's not going to let them lock down again at all. And like you said, they're very right, left. It's going to separate from state to state. Like last time it was like North Dakota and Florida. This time it'll be half of them.
Yeah.
And the thing is that will reverberate. You know
To
what I mean?
Canada too?
100%. It'll
Yeah,
go
yeah.
everywhere.
Well,
It'll
yeah.
go everywhere.
Well, you make a strong point though. You said something important. Which
Yeah, you
let's
did,
just
dude.
skip to that right
Yeah,
now, and
let's
we'll get
go.
to everything else. You said Trump won't allow it. Okay. So
Yeah.
quickly,
The GOAT.
quickly, I want to tap in on this
Goated.
topic.
Yo,
Quick-
guys,
quick-
I'm gonna break him down a little bit today. Sorry.
Okay.
No,
No,
do
it's
whatever,
good. It's
do
good.
whatever
Quickly,
you
I want to
want.
get there. Obviously, the big talk right now is, campaigning has begun
Yeah.
for the next election, 2024. He gets indicted. Famous mugshot.
yeah.
Okay.
What a
So
shot.
good. It's so good. Yeah. I'm like this fucking chump. Look at
Love
that. This
it.
is infamous
Yeah,
right away.
yeah. He knew.
So he personally, his campaign made $7.1 million off selling T-shirts of that.
Okay.
On top of every other fucking podcast in the world that made
Yes.
T-shirts with his face on it. So I can't even imagine if you put the total amount of money made off that picture.
Bro, it's a $100 million mugshot.
But
Let's just call it right
for
here.
sure, yeah,
That's what it is.
I 100%. And they're still making money till this day. So there was that. Now, this is where I want your opinion. The first question was, I'm going to ask a couple part of the question. I'll let
Sure.
you go.
Yeah.
So the first thing is do you think he can win? Number one. The second thing is, if they somehow force mail-in ballots, do you still think he can win? And then the third question is whoever he may be facing, whether it be Biden or whoever the nominee is going to be from the Democratic Party, are people going to vote for that person because they actually like them and like their policies and like what they stand for? Or are they just going to vote for them because they hate Trump? Because
yeah.
Trump, I'll say this, Trump will be the Republican nominee.
Yeah,
It's
obviously.
a fucking guarantee.
Yeah. So a couple things like, can he win? I mean, of course he can, right? But everyone's against him.
Yeah.
Everyone's against him
Okay.
on the right and the left. He is so far against what the entire establishment, how it operates, what they stand for. I think they're doing everything they can to make sure that he doesn't get in. He's like at 4 indictments now.
Yeah.
3
Parking
trials.
tickets.
Yeah, bro. 3 trials are within the first two quarters of 24 during campaign season. The last one, I think the Fulton County one, they're just trying to figure out right now. So we'll kind of see where that lands. Nothing's going to stick. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Even this whole thing like, oh, well, we're going to pull the like Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to be like, you caused an insurrection and a rebellion. It's like, bro, did you read it? Do you even know what that thing says?
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
So like they're trying this, it's not going to
They're
work.
trying everything.
It's
Yeah,
such a
yeah,
waste
yeah.
of time.
Yep.
But do I think he's going to be the Republican nominee? I do.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to. Do I think he's going to win? That's interesting. Here's my dark horse call. I think that something's going to happen to Biden. I don't know what. So
dying?
Yeah, like hold
Maybe.
on,
Death?
where are we going with this?
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
what else could possibly happen?
Well,
There's only one
he could
option.
fall down the stairs. So, bro.
If
like,
he falls down a flight of stairs,
he
he's dead.
could be compromised. The only thing is they don't want Kamala Harris in there because she's a fucking
No, she'll
nutbag.
Yeah.
So
Can't
I
do
think
that.
they're going to drag it out as long as they can.
Yeah.
I think for some reason he's not going to be fit to run. And if you look at like the stats on, even Democrats don't want him to run. Like at scale, that country's like, get this guy out of here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but I didn't realize this till the other day. He will not be doing the Democratic primaries. That is traditionally how it works. The sitting president doesn't do them. I thought he was bailing out.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
not the case.
So he doesn't have to do
No,
it.
no. It's traditionally you never do them. You're the incumbent. That's your
True.
seat.
So it's like battle for it, boys. Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
see
it's
it.
not happening. It's
Yeah.
kind of like they let them waste their time and try to gain some partisan points, but they're
Okay.
never going to take my seat.
True.
So I have a feeling that in the last 6 months before the campaign, something's going to happen. He's not going to be available for one reason or another. And I think they're going to drop someone else in. My call is to bring in Michelle Obama.
Wow.
Whoa.
You drop in Michelle Obama, you have a Democratic president in 2024.
I've heard
You talking
people say.
about
I've
Michael?
heard people saying Michelle.
Are you talking about Michael?
Mikey. Young
no,
Mikey.
hold on.
Listen,
on a second.
I've heard a couple people say that.
Wait
So
a minute.
I said this. Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
No,
Hold
he's
on.
just thinking.
Pause. No. Hold on. But they
There we go.
see that
proper
I'm trying to be proper.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be proper here,
Thank
okay?
you.
In the middle.
They haven't. No, okay. Michelle Obama hasn't even said anything. Like hasn't even begun a campaign. Hasn't even announced a campaign. So you
Right.
think that it might just come out of left field, last minute? Michelle Obama, here I am.
Well, I think you're going to start seeing it early 2024, and I'll tell you,
Okay.
like, so think about it this
Whoa.
way: who else?
Michael, eh?
Who else is running? So they're talking about Gavin Newsom from California.
Loser.
That guy is right up
huge
Trudeau's
loser.
ass. Those two are the same fucking person.
Yeah, that-
Yeah. Fucking pussy.
You know the problem with that fucking guy is he's
Go on, bro. Tell us what the
let's
fuck
go.
the problem
no.
is.
It's the thing is he's putting on a fucking act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts,
You want someone
facts.
that you understand and you know. The guy, you know it's a full act. It's like, remember in Happy Gilmore
Yeah.
when Ben Stiller was really nice to everybody, he turned his fucking back and he's like, yeah, well now you got gardening duty. Like that.
Yeah.
That's who this guy is. He's
Yeah.
he's not who he says he is. And
a
people,
show.
people can see right through that.
Yeah.
I think he is dangerous.
RFK?
RF, so to not to jump around too much, RFK is the guy I would actually like to see win. I would like to see RFK running the United States. I think he would make the biggest and best difference for that country. That's what I believe.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's got a chance. I think his
Yeah.
family's got a history of getting killed when he does. So it's not likely.
And quick
So-
to
I don't
add
even
to
know if he
that,
wants to win.
quickly to add to that, I had this thought today where, and maybe I'm just being a fucking prick, but like,
Yeah. Holy
dude,
fuck, this is
his
gonna be good.
no, it's not, his voice,
Yeah.
like his
Oh,
voice thing,
it's crazy.
People can't. I can.
We're
barely
gonna watch
listen-
one
I
of
can
his
barely
videos.
listen to
We're
him,
gonna have a
which I
video.
feel horrible saying.
Yeah.
but it's tough. It's a tough listen.
You're right though. It's funny.
And I think that plays a big role.
It does.
As crazy as that sounds.
No, it's not crazy, bro. It's like you have to be good looking, you have to be a good orator, you have to be able to carry yourself. If you got some charm, if you
Yes.
can hold a conversation, if you can hold a baby and they don't cry, you're a fucking winner.
Yes.
But if you can't talk, if you sound like you got one of those voice boxes,
Yeah.
you're at a major disadvantage.
I feel horrible
What
because
you-
I think he's good too. I think he stands for a lot of good things, but I think just the voice alone.
Someone
puts
get this
him
guy
at
a new
such
voice box or something, bro. Like,
disadvantage.
It's just like,
What can we do? Can we do something about
set him up?
You know what's funny? Because he's got the Kennedy name, but he's got the voice. It's like they cancel each other out. It's like,
Yes,
man, you got to
it's
win on your
true.
merit.
Now
Yeah,
he's just
yeah,
an
yeah.
average guy.
Yeah, it's just, but so why I think Michelle is interesting is what you hear a lot is that Obama's really behind a lot of what's going on in the Biden
Yes,
campaign
yes.
because you know Biden's compromised and he's not doing shit.
He's not doing
The
anything.
guy's been on vacation half the 40%
not
of the
even
time. He's on vacation.
there.
Bro,
He's
he's
not
not
even
No,
there.
no, I feel bad. It's elder abuse. It's
Yeah.
so fucking terrible.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
so bad for the guy. So the thing with
don't.
Michelle Obama is there's no other person other than RFK who's running a reasonable campaign. No one's really making any noise, right?
Yeah.
And all these Democrats are like, oh, Biden's fine. He's not too old. What do you mean he's not too old? The average age of death in America is 76.4. The man is 80.
No, the
the
bro-
fuck are we talking
yeah,
about?
bro's dead,
bro,
bro.
he'll be 10% older than the average age
Yes.
if he makes it through. There's no, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
get
Doesn't make any
real.
fucking
Let's get
sense.
real.
He's 10% dead already, to be honest. Like, fuck.
So, and the thing is, he doesn't look thin and like spry. He looks thin and frail. He's got that Mr. Burns thing.
You're not
happening.
taking
It's
advice
good,
from him.
dude.
Yeah, you're not going to listen to
No,
him.
bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the thing with Michelle is she obviously comes with Barack Obama as her backer.
Okay.
You know what I mean in terms of where she's been and what she knows.
Okay.
She's got the relationships. She has a lot of the right tools.
Okay.
For the job. Reasonable orator, good history. She's a black female.
Yeah,
to be a
I
man.
was just about to say.
But those are all
Black
those,
female.
But those, if you think about the Democratic
Black
values,
male.
if you think about democratic values, those matter.
Yes.
So that checks a lot of boxes for them.
Of course.
But I just don't see anyone else who would be able to jump in like that, because think about it like this. No one else is a great option, in my opinion, other than RFK. So if Michelle jumps in, people feel like they also get Barack. That's what they feel
I know.
like.
Yeah. Okay.
So
see
I
that.
had this thought about 4 or 5 months ago. I did hear it once since from someone else, so it's sounding less original. But hey, this was my idea. I'm telling you, man.
Okay. This came from you.
it was at least an original thought. I'm sure
Okay.
someone else was there too.
But you get Michelle, you get Barack, but
Yeah.
you're getting a fucking pedophile who literally
Let's
no,
get it,
listen,
bro.
I don't
Let's
give a
get
fuck.
it.
I'm gonna go there. You're getting a fucking pedophile, Pizzagate, whatever you want to talk. Epstein's homie, who brought the United States to war almost more than any other president.
I think
in
he's
history.
terrible.
Yeah.
I do not think he's a good choice.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do not think what the Democrats stand for these days is good for anybody.
You're
Yes.
saying for the Democratic Party, that's their best
That's what I'm
option.
saying. Yeah, bro, it's a competition. That's
Yeah.
what it's a war between parties. How do
It
you
would be
win?
perfect.
That's how you
Okay,
win.
so
For
let's
them,
go back.
Michelle
You
would be
put it- you
perfect.
put in-
Okay, but
She would be
exactly.
perfect right now.
But let's go back to what you said earlier. You said Trump won't allow mandates to come back into place.
Right.
Who do you think in this current moment has the best chance of winning?
Oh God, that's an interesting question. I actually can't give you a very reasonable opinion. I think that there's so much stuff happening. I think that the institution is going to do everything they can to stop Trump from winning. I really
Yeah,
think
yeah.
if you look, if you believe, like, I really like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Huge
him.
fan.
Yeah.
If you look at what he said, he thinks that if Trump continues to plow forward and continues to build support from all these people, that every time he gets arrested, he just gets more support.
Yep.
I'll say why in a second, or my thoughts on that. The next thing he might be looking at is assassination.
True.
And the thing is, like, I never thought about that till he said it. But when you look at that and you go, well, he got in once, and the deep state was actively against him, 100%.
While he was in.
Right. So the same thing's going to happen again if he gets in. So now they're like, look, by any means necessary, we can't have this, because how do they build their economy? Pharmaceuticals and military.
Yeah.
He wants to pull out of the war, and he wants to say no to COVID.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's fucking them completely.
And he already has.
Can you kill Trump?
You can.
Because
They won't stop
we've
at-
had
they
this
won't stop at
conversation.
nothing.
Hold
Yeah.
on, we've had this conversation.
I'll tell you,
And,
Why
and
can't you kill him?
I listen. I could be wrong.
Bro, is
I'm
the man
saying, like,
vaccinated?
I've thought about it.
Is he vaccinated?
Oh.
Is he 77 years old? He's almost a year past the average age of life in America, and he's vaccinated? What do you mean,
Yeah.
bro?
I guess-
anything can happen.
I guess assassination on that end. I just think.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
Trying
talking
to
about
put a
like a
bullet in his
sniper.
head.
Yeah. Like,
well, I just think he's also so powerful. Like
Yeah.
outside of being the
all
45th
it takes is one
president,
snake, dude.
outside of being the 45th president, like, bro, you're talking about a guy who has money beyond your wildest
100%,
dreams. Like,
100%.
so there's a part of me that just thinks like, yo, can they actually assassinate Trump? Like,
would have to
can
be-
they do it? I'm not saying yes or no.
Listen, they're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it. I'm like, can they really do that?
They're
Like,
game planning it for
I
sure.
think the thing is, look, bro, if you believe that the CIA had anything to do with the with Jack Kennedy getting killed, like,
Yep,
if
of course
you-
it did.
Yeah, then-
right.
like, yeah,
so why,
yeah.
why? And this
Why
is when he's
not?
a sitting president,
Yeah.
and that's because he didn't go to war. That was what instigated that whole thing. 18 months later, he gets killed.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and I mean, they were. I don't think they were even at like maybe 10% as capable as they are now.
So then you believe that Trump actually isn't a part of the fucking swamp. He's not a part of those people.
I don't
He's
think so.
actually completely on his own.
I actually think, yeah, he's separate. I think, you know why? I'll tell you. So some of the reasons why I question Trump getting back in and running for president is everybody's like, oh, he's so great, he did this, he did that. So he made some critical errors when he was in power, right? First of all, he's going to say no to all the mandates. He's the reason all the mandates are there. He implemented them all.
Yep.
People are like, well, it was the state governments, it was this, that. It's like, yeah, but he funded them and gave them direction.
Yeah.
So he let this all happen. It was on his watch. He's the one, Operation Warp Speed, that was him. Let's expedite this vaccine. That was his shit, bro.
Yeah.
So you look at that and you go, okay, well, you got to prove that you're going to stand up for this and do the opposite of what you already did.
Which is true. Yeah.
And then you think about it too. Like he gets in there and he brings people, starts building out his cabinet, and like he builds out like the some of his guys that he brought in would not fulfill his campaign promises.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like the Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
Mad Dog. He brings in this guy because he's got a nickname, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the guy wouldn't even cut the war that was a part of Trump's campaign promise, the war in Syria.
Yeah.
He wouldn't even support. He wouldn't even do it. So when he gets in and then he gets himself in a position where he's got to choose these people that are going to help him run the most powerful nation in the world, and he's making choices like that, not even understanding if they'll help him fulfill campaign promises. Man, the guy, that's the value of political experience. So he's got a long way to go to prove to me that he's the right guy for the job, because if he did it the same way he did it last time, that didn't work, because look where they are.
Well, then let me ask you this now. I feel like when it comes to, and a lot of people say this, when it comes to voting in presidents, this and that. Well, because I'll do it again because we're gonna say Trump's gonna win. So we'll do that.
Let me know.
Like the way I see it is
Predictions. We're doing the Simpsons
Yeah,
predictions.
y'all
the way I see it is it's just you're voting between the lesser of two evils.
I agree. That's exactly what it is right now.
So when I look at it like that, I'm going, do I want a party with a very dark history, which they both have. I shouldn't say that, but currently the people running, you're literally saying, bro, I can't even pick one guy out of the group or one she-male out of the group that could fucking be, who could be the president. The other side, okay, we got this guy. Yeah, he did make some critical errors in his presidency, but at the same time, on the flip side, the country wasn't in a very bad place. The critical errors that you're mentioning, I mean, let's stick to maybe the COVID one, was right at the end of his presidency, but he did a lot of good things as well.
Well, I think that he really pushed back against a lot of what they've done to sort of sustain their economy, you know, especially with the war. You know, I think he tried to stay out of people's business. But the other thing too is he was also very easy to manipulate. You know what I mean? Like getting into bed with these other countries and stuff. And basically if they're like, you know, telling him that he's a good boy and he's a good looking guy and he's great for the job, like he's like, all right, let's be partners. Let's work on this together. There's a lot of other stuff that happens, I think, at that level where you need more diplomacy and you need a deeper understanding of the apparatus that you're a part of. I think the problem that he has, let's put it this way. It's better that you have a guy like that in than you have someone who is old school institution and really a part of whatever deep state.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But at the same time, you want some of the diplomacy and you want him to have some really solid teammates so that it can actually function properly.
So you're saying, let's get Trump in, but let's make sure his team is fucking legit.
He needs a team.
Yeah,
he needs
yeah.
a good team. Like
Yeah.
let's be realistic. If he had a team that was as dedicated as Biden's team,
Yeah.
that's what this fucking weekend at Bernie shit. This guy's fucking dead.
Yeah.
He's still running the
Yeah,
country.
yeah, it's true.
So
That's
if
true.
he had a couple
It's
guys,
pretty
if
fucked
Trump
up,
had
yeah.
a couple guys carrying him around and helping him out, I totally agree. So I mean, at the end of the day, if nothing wild happens, he may still get in. But I really think that both sides are going to push pretty hard to try to keep him out of it. I really do.
So give us your prediction today, and it could change.
Yeah.
But today, who do you think becomes the president of the United States 2024?
If I had to guess today, I'd say Trump.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like
if I
that.
had to guess
Me
today.
too.
about
Cheers
you?
to that. Cheers, baby.
Cheers to Trump,
Let's
baby.
go. Whew. This is
killed me.
fucking gross.
Warm Blanco. Looks like
Yo,
it got
chat.
caught there.
Chat, let us know who's going to win
I
the
mean,
next election.
somebody said that Simpsons predicted the Trump assassination. Is that
I mean,
true?
they've been predicting everything, bro.
Have they? But
Damn, did they?
can someone
I
search
believe
that
they
up? Search that up.
I wouldn't
first.
even be surprised at this point.
Okay, let's keep
But
it
I know what
moving.
you're saying by lesser evil, too. That's interesting because it's like the Elon Musk conversation, right? Where people are like, but don't you think Elon's like part of the evil side? Because he's been doing so much good, right? And he's like really out there in terms of like...
Elon's outside the circle just like Trump is.
Yes.
Elon's
He
outside
is.
the circle, bro.
He is, but then what happens is like, okay, people are
But
like,
then it's
well,
like, okay.
he's fucking doing brain chips.
He's
We're gonna
doing
put a
brain
fucking
chips,
chip
he's
in
Yeah,
your
bro, I
brain.
want one. What are you talking about?
Okay, let's go.
Bro, you think I do research
Wait, hold
now?
on,
You
hold
think I do
on.
research now?
Hold on,
Get the
hold
fuck
on.
out of here.
If they release a brain chip next week, you're in line?
Yeah, I'm getting one.
Stop.
Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the
Okay,
fuck up.
use it for
Wrong
Are
with
you
guys?
serious?
If Elon's doing it, I'm doing it. Leave me alone.
No.
No, but is
no,
Elon
no,
actually
no.
going to put it in
That's-
his brain?
Yeah, Elon's got to do it first. You
Okay,
got
that's
to get
fair.
high on your own supply. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
but that's like the shots. Remember the shots when they're just putting water on
Here's-
TV?
Yo, by the way, hold on.
Here's the thing. So the reality is like they are gonna do like those chips. They're gonna be helping people that have
Fair.
paraplegic.
But that's
or
how they
something.
enter the market.
For
That's
sure,
how they
for
enter
sure,
the
for sure,
And then all
yeah.
of a sudden, Elon dies,
Yeah.
and the next successor comes, and it's Klaus Schwab's nephew.
be me,
and then he
though.
goes,
If it's you, I might be
what-
worried
think-
too.
no,
I
think-
might be worried.
He's kinda fucked up,
I
'cause
get
I don't
the
know what you're
chip.
gonna
I
do.
get the chip. Huge advantage over everybody here.
It's
You're all
true.
in shit.
It's true.
And now I continue to work my way into whatever Elon's doing. I take over. Everything's fine.
Well, you know where-
I'm
okay,
very benevolent. I promise.
is the deep state going to let you get there, though?
No, not at all. Man, I gotta like, I can
You're
you gotta
assassinated
have
before-
to fuck a kid to get into the group or
You
something.
know what's
weird.
crazy
It's
about
so-
those chips
it's
is,
insane, dude.
is I was I don't know which pod I was watching, but they were saying like the chips in your brain. Like first of all, if you want to download information, you're going to be able to download
Matrix,
it. Boom.
let's go.
If
Let's
you
go.
want to learn a skill, you're going to download
Let's
it. Boom.
go.
The thing is, there's going to be different like tiers of this chip. That if you're rich as fuck, my downloads are happening 10 times faster than yours.
But okay, but
I have access to different things
But
that
go
you
back
don't
to
have
what
access
you
to.
said before, right?
Yeah.
It starts off with good intentions.
Yes.
Elon builds this. I want to help people who have issues, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's fix the fucking issues. Then what happens is, like we said, some demon gets in charge when Elon dies or whatever happens. Corporate takeovers,
Or
whatever.
if John, or if he gets in charge,
So
then
he gets in charge. We're fucked.
Bro, you'd be fine.
So
I'm so decent.
somebody else
I'm
gets
such a
in
good
charge,
person.
and all of a sudden, it's like look at social media. When fucking Facebook first started and Instagram and all this, it was to connect people, to have conversations. And now it's just a propaganda machine because certain people got involved, right? It just always happens.
Okay.
So when I look at this, I go, yeah, Elon, yeah, you're so smart and what you're building is so cool. You're the best. Haha. Like there's so many Elon fanboys. But then it's like, bro, I know where this goes. Like I know where this leads.
I think it's another. It's going to be another result of fear. Like if you can scare people into getting a brain chip, they'll do it.
Brother.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would do it just so they could keep up. Because I think the
Or
world's
if,
so
or if it's like, yo,
competitive.
my husband has it, now I have to get it.
I think the reality is by the time that they're actually commercialized, I'll be too old. Like realistically,
But
like
that's when you need it most, bro.
Yo, I like that. I like that.
That's
Hold
when
on,
you're
hold
gonna
on.
need it.
I like that. Pure bets. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
They say.
Hundo.
That's fucking
They
heavy.
say,
And by
yeah.
the way, yo, I gotta shout out Puck Nation. My bad. When I talked about the Simpsons predicting Trump's assassination, it was Puck Nation.
Yo,
He
shout out
asked for
Puck
the shout
Nation.
out, so thank you, bro. Appreciate
We're doing some shout outs here.
it. Didn't happen. Okay, I actually retract
We
the shout
revoke
out
that.
because you were wrong. Okay, anyways, facts, Anthony, Raphael. You're
That's
the best.
what
I
she
don't know
said
what I said, but-
podcast. All right, what up, lady? I'm gonna assume ladies, lady.
No, that's a guy's podcast for sure. That's what she said. That's a heavy duty, like guys.
That could be
she
girls.
Said, nah, that's you know what though? This could go both ways.
Right?
yeah, it's true. Yeah, you know what?
Oh, no.
Fuck. Okay,
Right?
we're gonna,
I wanna know that.
let us know. Let us know. Okay.
Okay, but how
let's
about
keep
this?
it
How about
rolling.
this predictions on Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Just give me a prediction on it.
Okay.
Tell me what he's gonna do.
Okay. He's gonna do what he said he's gonna do with X. X is
Yeah,
gonna
a
full
basically
platform.
become.
Yeah.
He wants it to be like WeChat.
Yep.
Where it's a social media
Yeah.
platform. It's like a messaging platform, like WhatsApp.
It's its own economy.
It's payment.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like literally you do everything within this app. You online shop. You pay for things. You fucking tweet or whatever they call it. He's
There's
gonna
gonna be a
he's
feed,
gonna execute it.
videos, photo, everything.
He's
Yeah.
gonna execute
Yeah.
it because he like. You know, he started PayPal, so the whole payment processing aspect
That's easy
and that,
for him.
he's already done.
got the code ready.
The thing is,
Now-
he's 10 steps ahead. He
Yeah.
sees,
Yeah.
he knows. I'm watching
What
him
he's-
fuck around with this tool
yeah.
right now to be like, let's try this and that. People are like, he's just failing. I'm like, he's fucking around, man.
And he's so smart because then he goes, "Oh, Tucker Carlson, you're on the platform. We're gonna pay you a fuckload. Watch how many podcasts move to Twitter."
Yeah,
Or
100%.
X,
100%,
sorry,
yeah.
X. So very smart guy. Anyways,
Yeah.
I think the only thing I can say about him is he's whatever he wants to execute when it comes to X, he's gonna do it 100%.
I agree with that 100%. I think he's going to do a lot of good things. I think, Tesla's been a win in terms
Yep.
of what his intention was, for sure. SpaceX, same. It's been a win for what his intention was. The Starlink, same thing.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing with the Boring Company, but it was pretty fascinating when he was just selling flamethrowers and shit.
was
That was
hilarious.
cool.
I loved
I
it.
think
Yeah,
he did
like-
that for fun.
Yeah,
bro.
he did. Of course he did.
Yeah.
It's not a flamethrower. It's just, X, he's going to crush that as well. Right now, I think he's caught in this funny little phase where remember when you were a kid and you had an ego and you wanted to try to fulfill or, inflate that or
Yes.
whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it? He was a fucking nerd who was going bald in his 20s. Now he's the richest man in the world, and he's basically like your kind of sort of out of shape Tony Stark. That's what he is.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
true.
Wow.
But he's got
that's-
the build. He's got a jokes build.
Your boy's soft. He's
Yeah,
soft. It's what it is, man.
Yeah.
But it's
Michelin Man vibes.
Bro, the thing is, you can change that. You just got to fucking work for it. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's what
You're
it is.
working on other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to continue to have success. He's just going through his adolescent phase. I'm not even kidding. That's what this fucking is right now.
Like he's going through like that phase where you're just
Bro,
like
it's
like a
it's
teenage
it's
daughter.
5-year
Like
phase.
you don't know what the fuck
he's
they're gonna
just-
do.
Yeah, he's growing his hair long. He's painting his nails.
They're
I'm just
jumping out the
fucking
window
big.
of their bedroom and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro, it's fine. He'll reel it back in. It's fine.
So it's just a phase, you
That's all it
think?
is, dude. He's too brilliant. He's too good at what he does. He's the way that this man thinks, the way his mind operates.
Yeah.
You can't get away from that. You can fuck around and do other things for a little while, drink, party, whatever. But as soon as he gets back to his baseline, that's how that man operates.
True.
And he's just building and building and building on that. He's going to continue executing at a super high level, and he's going to continue changing the world.
We got Raphael in the chat. List every company Elon owns and think about the range of stuff he controls. I like Elon,
I mean,
but
he
he's
just
acquired.
did it. He just did it. PayPal, well, he sold it, but PayPal he started. Tesla, SpaceX, Boring Company. Now he
Solar
didn't-
City.
He didn't start X.
Yeah.
But
So-
he bought
It's
it.
his.
So 6 companies total that are like his main.
Yeah, I mean, the man's
what a
worth like
lineup.
220, 30 billion right now, something like that.
What a lineup.
Yeah, like
Holy
the thing is like, you know what? There's a good value in having the richest guy in the world be right out in front of us
Yes.
because everything he does is under
Like,
a
he's so
microscope.
available.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
the thing is, everything he does is under a microscope, and he knows that it is.
Yeah.
So people think about people having money. Oh, that's evil. Oh, they're so terrible. They're gonna do all these
And they
things.
see him.
Bro. But he's doing it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
He's holding himself to account by being public. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Everyone should be cheering for the fact that this guy's doing everything out in the open.
Oh, and I've been saying that too. I love the fact that he's so present
Yeah.
on X, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And
Your
he's
man
just being
talks shit.
himself. And
Yeah,
he's being
yeah,
himself.
yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, I actually think it's pretty funny. That
When have you ever
he's
seen like another like I guess social media owner or
pseudo
CEO
like
do that?
yeah.
Like, do that.
No, you don't. You don't, because a lot of times people want anonymity. People don't have that kind of personality. They don't really vie to be in the spotlight.
True.
There's a lot of reasons why, but we should all be grateful that he's doing it. Like I said, we should all be grateful he's doing it in front of everybody.
True. So last time we had you on, we talked about the 2030 agenda as well. Do you remember that?
Oh, the probably the you'll own nothing and be happy kind of situation.
The whole vibe.
Yeah.
The whole recipe.
Yeah.
You still believe that's in order to happen?
Well, refresh my memory on the specifics other than like you'll own nothing.
Well, 15-minute cities is one of them, like having everything very close.
Yeah.
That was one of them. Not driving, like not having cars on the road, more so walking and bikes.
They're moving in a lot of those directions.
Yeah.
I think they're doing it anyway. Now, the 15-minute city thing, I think I can punch a hole in that. Like,
Do it.
You can do it in small pockets.
Okay.
You can try it in big cities, but like, you ever been to Aurelia, where I grew up?
No.
Can't make that a 15-minute city, bro. You can't. You can't do it.
I don't know.
No,
Well, I have a video.
got a
We have
video.
a video we're going to pull up.
But here's
too.
the thing too. So here's the. So I joke, but here's the actual problem with it, right? If you build 15-minute cities,
Yeah.
you have to have a lot of compliance from people to do a couple of things. You need to build the infrastructure in each city to be exactly the same. So you need to own all the property. You need to be able to own all the businesses. You need to be able to provide everything everybody needs in every single area.
Okay.
To be able to do that at scale and get people to operate those businesses, or to build a big enough government apparatus to operate those things, is such a massive lift.
Yes.
That you can do a few of these.
Okay.
But you can't scale them for a very, very long time because you need such a massive infrastructure and such a large amount of compliance to get there. And honestly, you'd restructure the entire country in a lot of ways. You'd need so much money.
You need lots of money, that's for sure.
I think it's a heavy lift. I think it's tough thing to
But
do.
what do you think the intentions behind it are? That's my concern. The intentions behind the 15-minute city, not so much. Oh, it's a good
if they
idea.
can
Everything's
do it?
close by. Wow, this is sick. But like,
Why
I
do
look
they
at
want
that
it?
and I'm like,
Why do they want to do
Why
it?
do they want to do that?
Well, I keep asking myself this question every time I look at censorship and control. I'm like, why the fuck do they want to control everybody? For what reason?
Yeah.
And it's a tough thing to try to answer, because every time they do some shit that you're like, why do you want more control? Why do you want this? Why do you want people to be broke? Why do these people want to control humans? What? Because I have a hard time being conspiratorial about things when I can't be sort of like logical or objective.
Fair.
Like I don't like to say, oh, it's this crazy thing. They're all lizard people.
Yeah.
Well, then show me one. Show me
Yes.
one of the lizard people, and I'm on
Yes.
board.
Yes.
But until you can show me one, you got to fuck off with that shit.
Okay, fair.
So when I think about stuff like this, I'm like, okay, they're trying to control everybody, but why? What's the purpose, and how do they control people at scale? Other
Okay.
than currently, I see how it's working in society. They've done a really good job.
Of course.
Everybody go to your school, get the job, be in debt, da 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 da. They've created sort of a modern slave race. I see that. That's
Yes.
But beyond that, what would be the advantage of more control? Do you want people to how would you even get them there? Because if you make people more useless,
Okay.
how do they even accomplish anything for you? It's like you don't even have cattle
Well,
anymore.
they won't be accomplishing anything. They'll just do what you say.
But the thing is, to get them to be that compliant,
Yeah.
how much do you have to take away from the human's capability, their
Yes.
soul, their ambition, to even make them capable of doing anything?
Think about what's happening now. Right now, this is when citizens' souls are being taken away, when they can't afford anything. The inflation's up, this and that. They become very dependent on someone besides themselves.
Or they revolt.
It's not happening here.
Maybe not.
It's not happening
Not
here.
right now.
No.
Not right now. But you said 2030. So if we're looking that far ahead,
Fair.
How long?
But by 2030, it's too late. Like if you start deciding that you
No,
want to act out in 2030.
we don't have any weapons. We're a bunch
done.
of wet
Yeah,
noodles.
we're
I
cut.
agree. Canada's not the place. But what I'm saying is that idea is when you push people so far and you take everything away from them,
Yes.
how do you stop them from cracking? How do you stop
when they have nothing,
they have nothing to lose?
they have nothing to lose, nothing to gain. And
No, they have everything to gain because you have everything and they fucking know it.
well, what are they going to do about it?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. So it's what's the purpose of control? How do you actually execute
okay,
this?
the execution is tough. We could have said this 5 years ago about them executing what they did here with COVID.
Right.
We could have said the same thing. We could have been, that's never going to happen. You think they're going to shut us down for a year or 2 years? There's no way.
But there's got to be a line because there was a line for us.
But we didn't change anything.
But we did. We did though. Like
okay, we changed stuff in our community.
Yes.
It's not like we directly affected the government's decisions.
we might have
Maybe.
the open June 1st thing that I did. We opened on June 2nd. That whole June 1st campaign, I'm the one that brought that to the provincial government.
Okay.
So like in a sense,
Fair.
yes, but also like
You see what I'm-
to humble myself.
Yes.
Every other place in the world was opening up as well. It's not like it's just that I did play a small role in moving it.
I agree with that.
You guys
100%.
doing this podcast, me doing those videos, it makes a bit of a difference.
It does.
Because if no one said anything, where would we be?
Of course. Now, I think when it comes to why control them even more, because they just, you know what happened when they had the control during the pandemic? Who made money? The richest people in the world made money. They made more.
But it's because here, look.
So if you do a 15-minute city, now you're in full control of a full city.
But you
decide what stores are there.
we already have. Look at
no, I get it. But
bananas.
I can personally decide to leave and go to another city and go spend money there.
What's
if
the
I really
value
want.
of keeping you in one place, though?
It's not for me. The value's not for me. It's for the
No, but
higher ups.
for them, what's the value? What's the value of keeping you within 15 minutes? You can't go 45 minutes over there to 3 other cities. You got to stay here. What's the value?
Well, I think there's it's again, I'm going to revert back to the pandemic where there was times where you couldn't even leave your area too,
Sure.
right? It was the same kind of thing. And it's like, why don't they want that?
Right.
And I think it's just, again, they don't want people coming together.
Why?
If they can give a message.
But you're already in a 15-minute city with
Yeah,
your,
yeah, but
with
you
your
could,
boys.
but that could be controlled in, and you don't know how they're going to do anything in terms of news or giving these people information
Right.
or anything like that. That could be from a loudspeaker.
Right.
Like it could be like a school.
Nice.
Like you see what I'm saying? So a school, as an example, is a 15-minute city. A college campus.
Sure.
Right? You can indoctrinate a college campus very easily.
Right, but again, so you have to ask yourself, what's the point? So this is what,
Of course.
the rich people do one thing: they commoditize humans.
Yes.
Right? You come out, you get a bunch of vaccines, and then the medical institution continues to make more and more money off of you because the vaccines they've given you.
Of course.
And then so the medical institution that works. They own like you look at those companies with State Street. What are the three? State Street, the three big companies.
BlackRock and
Vanguard.
No, Vanguard, yeah.
Yeah. You look at how they own like 80% of the S&P
88%,
5. Yeah,
88%,
88.
yeah.
Okay, so when you look at how they own everything. So they poison you with the food.
Yep.
You know, but they give you the medicine to keep you. So the whole time they sell you on needing new clothes and new cars, but they own all that too.
True.
They own all the entertainment. So they commoditize you. That's what they do. They just basically, when you're born, they go, I can make millions of dollars off that individual as long as he's alive.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep him alive and I'm going to keep him kind of in this spin cycle.
Yes.
So that's how they make their money.
Yes.
So if they've already got us pretty maximized in
No,
terms
there's
of,
more money to be made.
But,
There's
right,
more
but,
money.
But how does putting us in a small town?
Okay,
and
here.
say-
I have
I see what
an
you're
idea. I know what
asking.
you're
It's a
saying.
great question.
Well, now, okay, 15-minute city, right? So in this 15-minute city, it needs to be a certain size. If there's only like, I don't know, let's say it's 100 acres. It's probably more than that, but let's just say it's 100 acres. That's how big the 15-minute city is. Well, we need to make sure you have at least one grocery store, one mechanic shop, one this type of store, one pharmacy, one this. Well, guess what? Oh, small independent people? No, sorry. Loblaws is getting the grocery store. Shoppers Drug Mart is getting the fucking pharmacy. And now all of a sudden in these little 15-minute cities that are everywhere, only certain companies can actually make money.
That's already happening. I agree.
Yeah.
We see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but it makes it easier now because then,
Again, you're an example of that. You
Yeah.
said, fuck my business and I'm going to sell them.
Yeah.
Because then legislation comes in and says, oh, 15-minute city, well, yeah, we can only fit one pharmacy, one grocery store, one school, one this, one that, da-da-da-da. And guess what? We're going to tell you which ones those are going to be.
For me, it's like the travel ban that they did to us.
Yeah.
Why didn't they want us to travel? Because they didn't want us to see other parts, see how people are moving outside of our own city.
Oh, look at North Korea. Why do they never? We don't want you to know what's going on outside because
they're a huge 15-minute city. They're just a massive one.
I think so. I think so. A couple things. So
I'm making this up, by the way. I have no
we're off
fucking
the dome
idea.
right now.
Because you're asking the question, I'm trying to think.
yeah.
I'm like, that's a good question.
So the thing with the shoppers and the Loblaws, that's already happening.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep us in small areas for that. There's no need, right?
Fair, okay.
That's already what it is.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the travel, every government started becoming responsible for everyone was locking down because everyone had to. That was a pharmaceutical play.
Yep.
But by locking everybody down in their own country, you had to play the same game the next guy was because
Okay.
you didn't want to be responsible for the spread. You didn't want to have one death on your hands from doing the wrong thing. So I think that was a big reason why you saw a lot of that more than anything.
Okay.
You know, so again, when it comes to like this 2030 agenda, look, they're already making it untenable to live here.
Yes.
You can't afford no young person can buy a home. You can barely afford groceries. They're going up 300%. All these other things are happening. It's making the country fucking terrible. But the thing is, why is anybody going to stay here if it gets so bad? If you look at a lot of countries that fell apart
Yes.
historically, when it becomes untenable to live there, people fucking leave. Because the thing is, if you can't survive there, how is your government going to provide for you? Because
Okay,
there's a go ahead.
No, the whole like if it gets fucked up here, you end up leaving, right? But like we talk about this with like Canadian immigration. Like Trudeau's a fucking genius. I hate him, but he's a genius. He's like, okay, I'm gonna bring in all these people from these really underdeveloped third world countries. Like, dude, like there's like Indians coming out of like every corner of the city right now. Like there's so many of them. Good
Shout
or
out all
bad,
the Indians,
whatever.
love 'em.
I've nothing against
Gotta
Indians.
love 'em.
I've nothing against Indians. What I'm
My
saying
guys.
is like he's bringing a lot of them in. Like that's where a lot of our immigrants are coming in from.
Right.
A good chunk of that. I don't know percentage, but so I'm not going to make it up. But a good chunk of them. Now they come here, right? And these little things that we complain about, censorship or government overreach or whatever, we complain about it because we're like, this is fuck because we know life before it.
Right.
But they come here and they go, well, this is just 100 times, regardless of all these things these stupid white guys are talking about. There's so much. This is so
These
much
privileged white guys.
No, but seriously, they're going, bro. You guys are complaining about that, dude. Like, in India, I was living like in fucking shit. It sucked. My house was horrible. It was like I was living in crazy shit conditions. So it's like, it's still better than where they're coming from.
Yes.
So his immigration thing is perfect. He brings these people in from these countries that whatever are obviously not as developed as Canada. No healthcare, whatever, right? Although our healthcare sucks. That's another story.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's another story. But
It's
for them,
another
whatever.
episode.
Listen, for them, it's better than what they
Yeah.
had, right? Now it's like, okay, cool. They come here, and again, government overreach, all this shit, whatever. They don't care because it's better than where they came from.
Right.
So now Trudeau does two things. Trudeau says, cool. I have now this new working class
Yep.
that I brought in that will work in horrible conditions
Yep.
for shit money. Will rent their whole life because it's better than what they had.
No, they're gonna
And
make money.
and
They're not even
gonna
gonna rent
leave.
the whole life.
And they're not gonna whatever. And they're not gonna leave or whatever.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of it, now just let's say from a voting perspective, it's the same thing. Like even when Trudeau's father was the one that brought in all the Europeans, Italians,
Yep.
Portuguese, whatever. If you ask any of those older Italians, Europeans today, they love him. Even if Pierre was a shit prime minister, they brought him here.
Yes.
He brought them here. So they love him. So they're gonna do the same thing, regardless of how shit of a prime minister Trudeau is.
No, he's gonna get the votes.
He's gonna get the votes
Yeah.
from them at
Of course,
least
of
because
course.
he brought them here. And now he's being smart. He's going, yo, we're gonna do a million.
even-
we're gonna
even
do
some-
a million
Yeah.
a year, buddy.
Yeah.
Even some of the Indians coming in
fucking-
are complaining now too.
Yeah,
though.
but I
Trust me.
guarantee you
Yeah.
it's
The
a-
longer they stay here, the more they
Bro,
realize
a
what's
lot,
happening.
A lot of them are leaving. A lot of them are
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
here. They're like, nah, it's better over there.
Of course.
People from Ukraine who were in war are like,
Yes.
I'm going back to the war.
Well,
That's
bro,
wild. Dude.
because they saw the price of living here, the cost of living.
They
They're
gave him like $3,600. They're like, well, that was gone in 2 months
What?
after paying rent.
Yeah,
They're like, I
yeah,
got
yeah.
nothing here now.
I pay
How am
rent
gonna
now.
survive? Yeah, like
That was 1 month, right?
So
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen though. So what's going to happen is Canada's just going to become this big wet blanket, this colorful wet blanket. That's all it's going to be.
That's what we already are.
But it's going to get worse because all the guys like us, capable people, are going to leave,
Yeah, true.
and they're going to swap in these because let's be realistic. We build our GDPF immigration, done it since World War II,
Yeah,
right? So it's
yeah.
fine. Get it. Both parties do it. But the reality is, we are going to be leaving at the same rate that they're coming in. What you're going to do is you're going to trade, and I don't mean this in any derogatory way, but you're going to be trading top performers for bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
Like you said, if these people are
Yes.
coming from another country, they don't have the skill set, they don't maybe speak the language.
Anyone who wants
they
to
don't-
come in.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to still get votes, but Canada, as we know it, is just not going to look the same anymore. That's it. That's all it's going to be.
And even
But doesn't that make you sad?
Of
Not
course.
really. Nah, it doesn't.
No?
You know,
No?
you know what I realized?
Okay.
I'll tell you why. There's this thing that like, kind of happened through COVID that I realized is that like the idea of being patriotic is an interesting thing. You can love your country. I think you should love everybody. I don't think
Yeah.
you should just love one country.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you should just love everyone.
Yeah.
But the idea that you're like patriotism is this sort of flawed logic where you believe your country's better because you were born there.
yes,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
In reality, like I'm not saying don't support your country. I'm not saying don't love it. I'm not saying don't love the people.
but be logical.
But,
as
but
well.
that's kind of what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Well, Canada's better because what? Because you were born there.
'Cause you're there, yeah,
What do you
you're
mean,
from
bro?
there, yeah.
Yeah, like the grass is greener somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I came to realize like my story that I'm writing with my life, Canada's not really going to be a big part of it
It's
anymore.
not going to.
I don't think so. No,
Yeah.
like, things could change, and you never know how things shake up. You know, if Pierre gets in and some other things move around.
Some-
And
lots got to shake
but
up.
the
bro.
the direction that it's going, where it's at now,
Yeah.
it's not.
Even going back on the question you had about the 15-minute cities, think about how much it would take for one person to own land in a 15-minute city.
Yeah, it'd be tough. I agree.
Might even be impossible.
Yeah.
Right?
Again.
Now think about the need for vehicles.
Right, but
Gone.
now how do you take? So now you have a new problem.
Okay.
How do you take all the? How do you take? Because there's a lot of old money here.
Yep.
How do
They're
you
leaving.
take-
The old money's leaving.
Yeah, yes, and no, because our parents aren't.
They'll leave.
No, they won't.
They might.
They're not going anywhere.
Okay, okay.
hell no, they're not going
go on.
nowhere, bro.
Go on.
So and like you got a brother or sister because one of them's staying here and they're taking your parents' shit.
Yep.
So what's gonna happen is
Not this guy.
So you got
They're both gone. They're both.
like I got like one of my siblings will stay up in Aurelia. She'll probably get what my parents have.
Okay.
So there's going to be this generation. You can't just weed it all out because they own land, they have vehicles, they have money, they have this, they have that. They're okay. Their house, they bought it for $200,000. It's worth a couple million at my parents, but in general, that happens a lot. So you're looking at these people that have, the means to stay here and sustain themselves. So how do you take everything away from everybody?
So okay,
because then it's martial
So what
law shit.
what I think is gonna be, it's gonna be pretty much like a way for people to live very cheaply. So I don't think someone with that kind of money is gonna take that as an option
Right.
for the time being.
So you're saying you think they might build them like campuses? Go live on the north 15-minute city
yeah,
campus?
I think it's just gonna be
That's
towers.
not even a bad idea.
It's gonna be like all rent.
But, dude, honestly, go downtown. I'll show you 3 of them.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
You walk in
No.
the underground, you have to see the sun. Like, what are you talking about, man?
What I'm saying is that it is
Liberty Village.
It is
Yeah.
matching up to what they want to do.
You know what?
Right?
Again, I every time I look at these things and I look at the idea of these things that seem nefarious, I always try to ask myself, what would be the purpose and what would be the difference from how things are already operating today?
Yes.
So there already are little pockets that are like 15-minute cities. I
Yes.
don't think you could scale it up because of the things that we just talked about. And even if you could, I don't really see the value to how do you increase control? What is the value for the person in charge? What do they gain? It's very, very
Well, they
difficult.
own everything.
Yeah, but the thing is, what else do they need?
They need living. Now they need to take over living.
But the thing is, they already commoditize humans to. I know, like you said, there's more money in us.
Yeah.
I agree. We could live longer. We could be fatter. Whatever. You
Yeah.
know. But the reality is, for the most part, they've already got everything they want. They've already got all them. They're winning the game Monopoly. They're the ones that wrote the rules. That's how
Yes.
much they've already got. So if you take everything away from someone, like we all live and operate in society under the guise that we have free will. Right?
Yeah, it's fake.
Right, but we have that feeling.
Yes.
If you take that away, you do not know what people are going to do at scale. You do not know. They could revolt. They could become fucking useless. Everything you worked to try to commoditize these people could go the other way. It's a very dangerous.
Yeah, but
line to cross.
I also
True, but
see
I
that-
also think to revolt, you actually need weapons.
yeah,
like-
fair.
well,
yeah.
Number one,
I could just punch Trudeau.
You know,
right
like
now.
just
We're
like
good. Yeah.
boom.
Number
I'm gonna
one-
punch everyone in the face in Canada.
number one, and number
I'm gonna
two.
walk around just punching in the face until this shit's over. Yeah.
Number one, but number two, I also think that happened with COVID. Like they tried this like overreach and it actually ended up backfiring. Like a lot of people woke up.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
said, "Whoa, actually, fuck this place. I'm out of here. Cayman Islands, Miami, wherever, right? Like I'm getting the fuck out of this place because what's happening here is too crazy. If you're moving to Europe, whatever." So yeah, I could see it goes both ways. But the Sydney H said greed has no limit, which I also agree that you have to remember these people at the top are also just humans.
I agree, but I think there's a point of diminishing returns, and you have to consider that. If you push everything too far and it all falls apart, what do you have?
Well, no,
True,
But
true.
listen,
That's the
listen.
thing.
But I think they're just
you're
getting
right.
started.
You're right. But at the end of the day, again, the people, let's say at the top, whoever the fuck they are,
It's just Soros.
they're
bro.
they're also just humans.
Yo, his son, you see him? Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
They're also just humans. So
Little
who's,
devil,
who's
bro.
saying,
Yeah, man.
who's here to say that they're not pushing too far and it might backfire on them? But I think because they're just humans and the greed, they just want to push as far as they can.
I agree. I agree with you. It looks like they just continue to push, and I see that. But the thing is, for them to have built a system that is effective as it is, let's give them credit. It's very effective. We are all, like, not all of us, but like the majority of us are locked in, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
They've got us commoditized and controlled. That's what they have.
Oh, yeah, big
so
time.
for them to do that at this type of scale globally, they understand the ebbs and flows of what they're doing. It's a very intricate system. They're going to know when they're pushing too far, and they're going to backpedal because while it may be a game, they do not want to lose everything.
Yes.
So I think that, you know, when you start seeing some people push back like we did through the pandemic, which is why I don't think we're probably going to see a lockdown again, I think they go, okay, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Okay,
Yeah,
went a little
true.
far there. So I just think a lot of these things kind of fall into that same 2 steps forward situation. But
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
Fair.
Jay,
Fair.
can you pull up that video of the 15-minute city?
No.
We're gonna watch a little reel here. It's actually happening. This is in Ontario, right? This one, yeah,
Georgian Bay.
yeah.
Damn.
That's Ontario, right?
Yeah.
They're it's not happening for sure.
It's a concept
talking
that
about
they're
it,
pitching
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, turn that puppy around, Dean. Turn it even more.
Just gotta hit that baby.
So
Maybe
big.
restart it.
It's 130 acres with 7 interconnected districts. Everything from health, wellness, housing, education, even a community tool shed is all within this 130 acres. You would probably never
You're
have to
close.
leave it.
130
now, the
acres?
mission
There you go.
statement
Nice.
of this place is to transform 130 acres of underutilized land in the southern Georgian Bay area, which is just about 90 minutes north of Toronto, into a vibrant mixed-use village. This village will apparently foster complete community health and well-being, attract employers, create jobs, and so on and so forth. Critics of these 15-minute cities do say they are presumptive and colonial in nature. They segregate people, and since they are designed around a certain lifestyle, they get rid of your need for having a car and ever really leaving. But if the housing here really truly was affordable, would you look past some of these things? Ontario's getting a
Interesting.
So
$2 billion plan. By the way, you said it would cost a lot of fucking money. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah,
$2 billion.
that's for one.
Yeah, and
for
like
one.
bro, look at the biggest development families in
So,
Canada.
Do me a
look
favor.
at that job
do
done.
me a favor. Tell me how many. If anybody can tell me how many acres are in Canada, we're gonna do a little math.
Let me do this right now.
Fucking hell.
I'll do it.
I got no fucking idea. 130 acres. Okay, I said 100
130
acres.
acres.
Yeah, yeah. So
2.47 billion acres.
Okay, divide that by 130, because that's how it's 130 acres per unit. We'll just say we'll use all the land. For
sure,
fun.
yeah. We'll go
Use
right
it all.
right to the fucking top, baby.
So we got.
We're in the Northwest Territories, 15-minute cities and fucking penguins
Yeah.
up there. Let's go. No, a couple penguins.
This is
running
gonna be a
around?
stark number. You're gonna be like, oh god.
How many fucking zeros are on this?
Right. Yeah. So it's
It's three. That's okay. So one more.
What did you say? How many billion?
2.4 billion.
I see 890 million.
890 million? Where?
how many acres?
I
in
just
Canada?
Googled it though.
Yeah.
It's the first thing.
Okay, whatever. Let's use the 2 point. Let's use the 2 point. Whatever.
Okay, 2.4. What did we say
Divided
divided
by-
by?
130. 130. It's 130 acres, right?
Yeah.
It's 130.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another big ass number.
Yeah.
18 million.
18 million. Multiply that by $2 billion, because that's how much each one of those is.
Okay,
multiply that by
do it,
$2
do it.
billion.
Because this,
You're gonna get like 36 quadrillion. That's what you're gonna get.
Yeah, there's not. This is. Start gave me the E. You know what it gives you the E?
E plus 50.
Like you see it. I think the number is like it's like
It's trillions.
I think it's beyond that. I think I actually
Quazillions.
might actually be 36 quadrillion. I might have been right. That'd be wild.
Yeah. Listen.
Well, look, 2 times 18 is gonna be 36. So I'm in the ballpark. So anyway, let's
Okay.
say it's.
But you're not gonna put it every single.
Well, but think about the economics behind that. Our government's in debt $1.3 trillion in all of Canada's history.
Yes.
We're talking about 36 quadrillion. That's an you can't even figure out what that number is. So if you look at it from an economic perspective,
Yeah.
how the fuck do they implement this at scale? It cannot be done.
I think it has to be done slowly. Very slow.
Bruv, for that
And we
kind
print
of
the money, baby. We
yeah,
print
I'm
the
gonna say,
money.
we're no strangers are just fucking printing money in this country.
No, I think
a lot of money
obviously
to
I don't
print,
think
though.
everything's just going to become a 15-minute city right
No.
off the bat. I think that they're going to test it. It's a test.
Sure.
A and B,
I know, I'm fucking
and B.
around, I
We're
know.
talking about like exactly how much of that land is not like you can't live there. It's not habitable, right?
Even
So-
if the thing is, even if you tried to do like 1,000 of them,
Yes.
even if you try to do 1,000 of
2
them,
billion.
yeah, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bro, like the number's unfathomable, like the resources,
But think
to
about
do
this.
it.
Think about how much money they must be making after that city's done.
Yeah, but like I hear you, but at the same time, it's who's gonna move into them? How are you gonna get it? There's a lot. There's a big
True,
lift. There's a big
true.
lift.
Listen, you saw how they're trying to sell it. Obviously, more jobs, more this, more that wellness,
cheap
gyms.
land on the greenbelt. Hell yeah! Hey,
Hold on,
my
chat.
guy
Would you
knows.
guys Would you guys live in a 15-minute city? Let me know. Half
Where,
the cities
but
in
and let's say they had like a proper like sports team in there. And you know what I'm saying?
Okay, listen. Can we? Okay,
I
if
might
we can
stay
make our
there.
own
That's what I'm
15-minute
saying.
city,
Now we're on to something.
that's
right?
good. I wouldn't mind. It just can't cost $2 billion.
No,
you know what
dude.
I mean?
Bruv.
$20. No.
Okay. Let's pull up the video with Kennedy exposing something, and then Alex Jones right after that. We're going back to back here.
Yeah. Now I
We're
feel bad
finishing-
for saying what I said about
We're
his
finishing
fucking-
strong now.
about
We're
his
gonna do this
fucking
one first,
Voice.
and then the one under it. right
Nah,
after.
that's what it is. We're all thinking.
So
that
here we
you
go.
said
This is
it.
what you were talking
hard,
about.
bro.
Make
It's
sure it's
hard.
on this before you play it, Jay. Just so we don't miss any.
And yo, chat, can you guys see these videos properly? Just let us know as well. Because they're first time trying to pull some shit up. You guys let me
Importantly,
know.
there's 3 giant corporations,
Fuck.
BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard,
Yeah.
which collectively, they own each other, so it's really one giant corporation. But they also own 89% of the S&P 500. They own everything. They've now decided to buy every single family home in America. So if they stay on the current trajectory, they will own 60% of the homes in this country, single-family homes, by 2030.
It's so fun.
They literally are trying to buy everything. And the head of it, Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, is on the board of that World Economic Forum, and what they, they've said, we want this great reset, which is you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, they're on their way to making sure that we don't own anything. So you all probably have heard of people who are about to buy a home, and somebody comes in at the last minute with a cash offer and snatches out of the market.
Right.
And it's usually an LLC with an ambiguous name. But if you trace that up, you'll find it's owned by BlackRock. Wow. More important.
Someone get this guy a voice box.
For first things
Sakes,
first.
that was awful to
That
hear.
voice is brutal.
Yeah, I feel
my
bad.
I feel
God.
bad for him, bro. But
Wow.
there we go. That's 20, 30. They're buying houses, dude. They're coming in last minute.
It's a huge move right now. You're seeing a lot of
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you'd never think that they would dude, they've bought all the businesses.
Yeah.
They own all 89% of the companies that make up the S&P 500.
Yeah.
That is majority of the most powerful companies.
That's the who's who for sure. Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's like Joe Schmo, dude just saved up, a couple $100,000 from working for 20 years to go buy this property, and last second just gets demoed by BlackRock.
Yeah. Coming
It's like,
quick.
holy-
20K over. Not even like anything
holy-
crazy.
It's kind of
20.
interesting. I mean, it makes sense if you think about it. Like they manipulate the
Jesus.
market to inflate the price of the homes.
Yes.
And then they buy them because the thing is, if you own the homes, you know that they continue to appreciate in value. You know that you can game the market to continue to increase their value.
Yep.
And then you also know that you actually don't have to put anything into them for your value to double or triple like the homes have done here in the last fucking 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's an
Yeah.
interesting investment when you think about it that way. So I sort of understand it from like a more like non-nefarious perspective. Like I get it, but also like, yeah, I mean, from the perspective of like what it's going to do to America, what it's going to do to society when they can't own these homes, like, you know what? Like, we don't really know how this is going to shake out because I think people are going to find it untenable. Like I'm saying, I don't think people are going to accept it. They're going to go other places. The world, like the United States may not be the United States anymore.
True.
They might start breaking up.
True.
People are going to start living in other countries. Like this is just going to, because the thing is, there's too many young, ambitious people like us that won't accept this. We just
Yes.
won't. And the
Yeah.
people that will,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck if they own the place or not. They're insignificant in as far as this conversation goes because they just go wherever the wind blows. They don't fucking matter.
True.
And people like you and I and you and the rest of us here, I say just mean that collectively when I say that kind of shit. We are going to continue to push back and find our way through, no matter what, because this stuff's not going to stop us.
It's true.
Oh, you own that whole block? Cool, I'll go live the fuck over there. I don't care. That's not going to stop me.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? It's
Fair.
just so these things are going to keep
But if
happening.
everyone just leaves, we'll just become a third world country.
well,
Like, we'll go
isn't
back.
that what they say? America already is a third world country
Yeah,
with a
they
Gucci
are.
belt.
They're getting, yeah. I never heard that one.
Yeah, I heard that.
Wait, say that
Damn.
again. Say that again.
America's
we need
a
that
third
one.
world country with a Gucci belt, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. It's
Okay.
true.
Give us the Alex Jones. That's how we're gonna finish off here.
Finish strong, eh?
Finish strong with some Alex Jones. This one here. Get the
Finish
nutcase to
strong
finish us off here.
with
Bruh.
fucking-
He's right about a lot of shit.
He's right
though.
about 99% of shit.
Yeah, it scares me a little.
Guys, chat. Drop a W for Alex Jones right now.
Drop a fucking W in the chat for my guy Alex, eh? Holy fuck. Jay, turn it on.
Poison shots. They're testing releasing viruses. They're testing cutting off pipelines and gas and fuel and creating inflation. To create the angrier world to then organize the starving masses into launching their great reset that is the controlled collapse of civilization. So there's a cover-up in Maui, in Lahaina. They know that they didn't trim the trees. They know the trees and bushes fell on the power lines. They know they let the power on. They know they turned the water off. They know they didn't issue the alarms. They know they let the whole thing happen. And then the police chief who ran the Vegas cover-up, in my view, you know that thing was a cover-up. He's magically there right after they failed to buy the town out from under the people. They're saying the town's worth $5.5 billion. But once they build high-rise hotels, it'll be worth 3 or 4 times that. And we already have the governor announcing that's the plan, and Oprah and all the rest of them. This is disgusting. And Hawaii is the greatest example of a bunch of billionaires, over 100 of them, that have moved into all the major islands and are pushing everybody else out.
This guy's
They
stressed
want
out,
it as
eh?
their own private reserve.
Because he knows it's true. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things about Hawaii and the
that's a
wildfires.
whole other fucking thing. That's a whole other.
Yeah, it's just been a lot of sketchy things. Obviously, a lot of things overlooked, and a lot of people have a lot of opinions on
But
it.
starving the masses was like the main concept from there, like getting us up to that, which they've been doing the last couple of years, right? Like starving the
I
masses.
don't look around starving the masses. 42% of America is obese. Who the fuck are they starving? What are you talking about right now?
Holy fuck. Well, they ain't starving, that's for sure. But you know what I mean, right? Like they're just trying to get everyone in a place where they depend on something else.
You know what
like you said, not everyone is like us though.
No.
Where we're like, okay, we'll just leave the country.
He talked about like sort of a controlled breakdown of civilization, right?
Yes.
Like the controlled collapse of civilization.
Yes.
How do you have a controlled collapse? That's an interesting thought, right? Because it's like I'm gonna blow that building up. Like it's a controlled demolition. Still gonna be a huge fucking mess.
Yes.
How do you have a controlled collapse of
I
society?
think that they're okay with the mess that comes with it, like killing, like people dying, people doing this, people being broke, people being homeless. They're okay with that mess.
How do you stay safe? Who are you and how do you stay safe? Because the thing is,
Like who? Like you're talking about the higher ups?
Yeah.
Okay. Like
Yeah.
how do they stay safe?
sure, yeah. Because
mean-
here's the thing: is if they're not here to enforce some sort of martial law, no, just take the space. We just take it. Call it revolution, bro. Let's go. So it's like,
Yeah, well, again,
there
you're
is-
talking about certain states, let's say, because Canada, bro, what are we taking with what? What are we going to take everything
But
with?
the thing is how? Again, my bigger question is what does controlled collapse of society look like? Because to me that sounds very, very messy, and I don't know how do you pick up the pieces after that, and how do you know what that's going to look like?
True. Well, that's a great question. I'll be honest.
I mean, I'm not part of the fucking World Economic Forum, so I don't know exactly.
I think that they're okay with some sort of mess. They're okay with. I mean, they've made it clear they're okay
Yeah,
with people
for sure,
dying.
for sure, yeah.
Obviously. But yeah, I think control just means that they're planning as much as they can on their end, with expectations of there being some sort of mess. I mean, and like you said, sometimes they'll do a little. You know what? 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
Let's just chill a bit. I think they got time. They're not really in a rush to take over the world, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess we'll find out, won't we?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think we will. Yeah. That's
So where are
the-
you headed if Canada goes to the States?
Oh man,
You're already gone, half gone, no?
So I'm like, it's kind of weird right now. So we're kind of deciding between like Texas, like Austin, and the Cayman Islands.
Great
So
options.
really just choose between those two. It's just such an integrated decision because family, where we want to raise our kids, how ambitious are we? What's the political landscape, economic landscape? Is it safe? Blah blah blah. Now they're both pretty safe.
Okay.
Both have reasonable health care. Cayman Islands is a little more left wing, like in terms
it?
of their policy.
Oh, true.
They have some very rich
I don't even
people
know
there,
what's
so they
happening.
kind of do whatever the hell they
Okay,
want.
okay.
But like they locked down, they were weird. Like you couldn't go to the grocery store unless your last name was like started with these letters.
Wow.
It was pretty wild there for a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen again, but irked me a little bit. It's just a small town. It's 196 square kilometers. So it's the size of Barrie, and it's got a static population of like 75,000.
So it's a 15-minute city.
Right, exactly. So there's 2 million people in and out every year, so it's a busy spot.
I love it.
It's just that it feels a little more like a retirement home. So we are
Okay.
thinking, just given the amount of ambition we still currently have, I got mine back. Like I'm good to go. I don't really know if I want to go to the retirement home yet.
Austin might be a good choice
Yeah,
then.
that's what I think. That's what I
Like
think.
for
But we're just
highly
kinda-
motivated individuals right now, I heard Austin's.
there's just so many good
Great.
subcultures, right?
Yeah.
Like first of all, like call it a blueberry and a raspberry patch. I think people say because it's a little bit more democratic.
Yep.
I would live just outside the city. That would be kind of the thing. I'd get like 5 to 7 acres. I would have a little farm. I'd have some chickens. I'd build a golf range on that motherfucker. I'd be hitting golf balls and shit all day. It'd be great.
Would you have guns?
Yeah, 100%.
Lots.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, the thing is, and then you have to become proficient with them too, right?
True. So
Because
you gotta have to shoot
I know
them.
I'm the kind of guy. If some shit goes down, I'm going to shoot the guy. That's just who I am. I know that. I already know where I'm at.
You're sitting at the table with the right guys, bro.
But there's all these subcultures, right? Whether it's the jiu-jitsu, the comedy, the live music, the entrepreneur, the tech, the podcast group. There's so many great subcultures there, and just kind of where I'm at in my life, I've got one more, exciting, ambitious, fly by the
big
seat of my
push.
pants, not really give a fuck what happens. Meg and I are going to try to have kids soon, so we're like, all right, even the first 5-7 years of a kid's life, who fucking cares?
Yeah, it's true.
So I've got like this next, 5, 7, maybe 10 years where it's just like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like I'm leaning towards Texas, but we'll kind of see. We're sort of, we can go whenever because we sold enough of our businesses that we're not really in a bad position. We're
Okay,
not
good.
stuck. So we're just going to kind of stay until spring and then just look what's going on. Because everything seems a little dodgy. Nothing crazy bad is happening here. We can leave if we have to at any point in time. We got a place we can go to Mexico. We got a place we can go to Cayman. We got a place we can go to in the States. So we kind of we know we can get out. We don't. I sold a bunch of my own stuff, so I don't have a lot of personal. Bro, I get in the Jag and I'm gone. Fucking see me and my dog and my wife, and I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Shit.
Fuck
so,
you guys. Yeah.
So
We're out.
So we're just kind of waiting to see where the chips fall after.
I think the
after
next few
winter
months
and
we're
go.
gonna see what happens.
That's why we're kind of thinking like between March to next June, and
It'll
just
be a
like,
good
all right,
time.
cool.
You'll know what's up by then.
Yeah,
We'll know.
exactly. So that's kind of the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you in fucking Austin or
Yeah,
or to be
neighbors.
honest.
To be
Let's
honest, if we see
go.
you in Florida,
Yeah.
we're close by.
Yes.
My guy.
Yes.
Bro.
Thank
See
you,
boys.
bro.
Thank
What a
you. Yeah.
chat, eh? We
Appreciate
didn't even
it,
get
man.
it all out.
I know we got so much more. So much more to say.
I was like, oh my god, it's 9:30. What
Yeah,
happened?
right. We're just having a good time. Chat. We love you.
Yes. If you guys tapped in,
Appreciate you guys.
thank you so much.
Hit that sub.
All right.
Hit that like.
Yes. If you're listening,
Jonathan Harvey on it's Jonathan Harvey on Instagram, right?
yeah, we'll pop
Yeah.
everything up. If you're listening, 5 stars, please.
Yes.
And yo, if you tap into the live streams and you hop in the chat and you talk, we fucking love you.
We
Just know that
appreciate
we
y'all.
actually appreciate you for real. We're like in a position where we feel like it's day one again.
Day
Which is
one,
like,
baby.
Which is like exciting for us.
Fresh start.
Which we're happy about. So to build from here, we love you guys and just keep riding with us and let us know. DM us, DM the account. Let us know in the chat shit you like, more shit you want to see, whatever. We'll roll with it.
See y'all next Thursday.
Yeah. Answer your emails. Holy fuck. Holy Yo, Puck Nation, my bad.
Yo, Hachi, bro. Love you, bro.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Yes. Yo, this fucking
Yo,
get the
Dini,
fuck
talk
out
to
of
us.
here. Yeah.